Good evening, my special little snowflakes. It is I, your Lord and Saviour, Cobe of the North, South, East, and whatever the other direction is. We're going to be looking at a show you might have heard of, a small show. It's my show. We're going to fucking rate every single episode. I won't probably remember every single episode, but apparently we've got 145, so that's nuts. And right here we've IMDb's listing off the most popular episodes here. The top rated are apparently Sonic EXE Part 3, which supposedly does not feature a plot. It is a plotless episode. Look at a plot. And A Close Encounter with the Tails Doll. Lucky Kid lands on the ground whilst escaping Killer Doll. So I'm a little excited to see how everybody's doing and how you guys feel about these episodes, because I'm probably gonna need your assistance with some of these, because let's be real, I'm not gonna remember them all. So before we start, just a quick thing. If you're just getting here, basically I haven't been uploading or doing anything with the internet because my internet service provider is a pile of shit and my upload speed is garbage. So they're doing work, basically going into the roads, digging up the cables, and apparently they need to be repaired. They didn't know that until I fucking reported there was a problem, which is hilarious because I've had like months of just garbage internet. They're like, oh yeah, there's a fault with the line. I'm like, thanks guys, brilliant, appreciate that. So hopefully this will work. If it keeps fucking up and doesn't work, we'll stop and start the stream again using my fucking 4G, and we'll just stream it really fucking primitive off my 4G, to be honest. But for now, I'll explain how my ranking works. Now, we're not gonna rate the whole series until we're done ranking individual episodes. But as you can see, this website, IMDb, which some of you kiddies probably don't know this website. It was big in like the early days because it used to have a message board on here, and there's no message boards anymore. But this was the place for discussing film and television. I used to hang around on the Breaking Bad boards on here a lot. There was a lot of off-topic posting and lots of spoilers I accidentally saw when the show was airing, because tons of stuff got leaked on that show. How kind of them to do this. Yeah, it's obscene, right? Anyway. Well, thank you very much, the neighbor's kid, for the $5 US. The best episode of the show is a sailor emerges from a hatch and asks if you're simping. That might actually be the best thing I ever made. Genuinely is the best video on the channel. Thank you, Pimp Demon, for the 50 Norwegian krona. I really appreciate that. If you don't remember the great singing episode, that is the one, Mario CREEPYPASTA, that was boring. Also, hey Jacob, how are you doing in this timeline? I've got a sore throat, which has just come on very suddenly, which is no fun when you're doing a live stream. So I might actually dip in a moment to make a cup of tea, which is super professional when the stream's already started. But hey ho, you did not subscribe to this channel for professionalism. Let's call a spade a spade. Alright, so let me explain how my system of rating out of 10 works. Now, most people, they did a study on this. Most people, when they mean average, middle of the road, they'll stick something here at 7. However, for me, 7 is good. You see, average is here right in the middle, 5. Now, a lot of people say 5 out of 10. How I can't believe you hate this thing so much. I think I don't. 5 is the middle. That is the average. So let me explain. 1 star. What is 1 star? 1 star to me is unwatchable, irredeemable, absolutely nothing to recommend it. 1 star is something like the Emoji Movie or Killjoy 2. That is a 1 star experience. 2 stars. 2 stars is bad, very bad. Something about it might make it palatable, but largely you're never going to want to sit through it again. But maybe there's some effort gone in there. Somebody involved somewhere tried hard, and that transferred into the experience. but all in all, you wouldn't watch it again. 3 is an interesting one, because 3 is often where really bad stuff goes for me in terms of rating. Stuff like Jurassic World 2, Fallen Kingdom. Things that are just kind of clusterfucks and that are nightmarish, but it's also a space where a ton of so bad it's good material lands. This is where a lot of your Reb Brown movies end up, in the sort of 3 to 4 out of 10. You know, this is where your Strike Commandos and your Robo Wars end up. 4. Now, 4 is subpar. So, not wholly terrible, and basically watchable, but below average. 5 is smack bang in the middle. Completely mediocre. Nothing that stands out, but nothing offensive either. 6 is good. Good, slightly above the average of anything. Sort of. So a 5 out of 10, for anyone who doesn't, movie-wise, would be something like, I don't know, something like The Day After Tomorrow, or Bad Boys 2. That's a 5 for me. A 6 is something decent, you know, watchable, half decent. 7 is very good. 7 is when you start to get things that are actually quality, like quality entertainment. Like 7 and up is like good. 8 is great. Very good, very entertaining, achieves a lot of what it sets out to do, and is largely to be applauded. 9 is damn near perfect. This is where like a lot of great film and television sits for me. A 9 is something like Spider-Man 2, where it just like almost nails literally everything. And a 10 is perfect. 10 is reserved for some episodes of Game of Thrones in the early seasons, and things like Jaws and 2001: A Space Odyssey. So that's my scale. A lot of guys, the scale is 7 and up for everything. For me, I'm a lot more fair. Like 5 is average. So with all that in mind, we're going to hop onto the episode guide and see where we land, what I think versus what you guys think. And some of you guys might have to actually help me, because I might not remember every single episode. I'm going to be real with you. I might not remember every single one, okay? So, because I've made a lot. And some of you might remember some of them and some of you won't. But I feel like there's enough people here that as a team, we can figure this thing out. Before we continue, though, thank you very much, Peter, for the $4.99. I appreciate your reading of My Name is MCCP, because instead of you or Toby freaking out, we see Matt fly into a fit of rage. Yes, it was a special moment for all of us, I think. It's all a 10 out of 10 in my heart. Oh, that's very sweet of you. Thank you. Yeah, Spider-Verse. So, guys, I'm going to very quickly... I'm just going to very quickly... I'm not going to make a cup of tea because that's just, like, inappropriate. That's going to take too long. I will go out and get a fucking can of Pepsi, though. Alright, so I swear to God this is diet soda and not beer. Not that I've ever shied away from drinking alcohol on the show, heaven forbid. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf. I'm not. That's just something I'm telling people. Thank you, Pimp Demon. 10 is perfect, like emo Peter Parker in Spider-Man 3. And that Jason Voorhees kill in Jason X. You know which one I'm talking about if you watched it. I actually think it could be one of two. Oh, one of three maybe. It could be the sleeping bag one. That's kind of a rehash of a different one. So it could be the frozen face or the giant screw. I don't know. One of those two could easily be picked as a 10 out of 10. Thank you, Birdman Dan, for the $5 US. I like your name as well. Stuck at home with the Rona. Oh, I know. I've been there, my good man. I have been there. Not your house, obviously. That would be weird. But you might want to check under your bed for me, because I may actually be at your house right now. Thanks for the nostalgia trip. Well, I'm glad I could provide some nostalgia for you. I noticed that my show is in... Before we rate anything, shall we click on this guy's list? Some IMDb user made a list called My Childhood. Let's see what was in his childhood. And I assume bad creepypasta. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Yes, indeedy. Batman Forever. That's a perfect 5 out of 10 movie. Batman Forever. See, starting to understand the scale now. Spider-Man 2. That's a 9. That's a paddling. That's a 9. Anything to put off doing why we're all here. Toy Story. That's like a 7 or 8. I'm not gonna rate everything though. South Park the video game. That's very much a 5, maybe low 6. Mario Brothers 3 the cartoon series. Pac-Man World 2. How old is this person? Because they've put my show, which I started when I was like 21. But shit from my childhood in here as well, so I have no idea how old this person is. Okay, doesn't fucking matter. Let's get back to it, shall we? Let's do it to it. Is that what the kids say? I don't know. Okay, so the first episode. Oh, are we gonna... Yeah, we'll go through them properly. We're not gonna scroll down. We're gonna actually click on the page for each individual episode. It has begun. We're gonna be sorting out the wheat from the chaff here, the men from the boys. Maybe they're young but watched old shit. That's I just didn't think that maybe they had it on DVD or something. Because I don't think that stuff like Super Mario Brothers 3, the TV show. I'm pretty sure that's not on any streaming platform. It might be on some American stuff like Hulu, but I fucking doubt it. So maybe they have like the DVDs or something. Because I highly doubt that shit aired on TV again. Thank you, Peter, again for the 4.99. Very generous. I'm so happy that my last class of the day was cancelled so that I can see this. That is extremely fucking sweet of you. Thank you. I wasn't aware there was music in the background. You might be hearing Logan's TV. He's actually watching The Simpsons right now. He's kind of into The Simpsons, you know. I made it sound like, when I said into, that makes it sound weird. I don't mean in like a sexual way. At least I hope to God. I just mean that he's autistic, and therefore when he likes something, he really gets into it. And The Simpsons is kind of his big thing right now. So you will if he's upstairs, you will often hear The Simpsons playing. So Tales Told My Story. Right, let's rate this thing. Okay. Alcoholic father recalls how his feet became sore. I mean, it's simple, elegant. What are we going to rate this one, guys? Now, for me, on the one hand, there's a tremendous amount of nostalgia attached because it is the first one we ever recorded. And it was kind of the start of my whole thing on YouTube of meeting you lovely people and, you know, fleecing you for your pennies on Super Chat. No, it was a start of something that I really enjoyed with my best friends and all of this shit. However, we don't really provide any interesting commentary. It's presented, because it wasn't supposed to be the start of a new series, it was presented as a challenge. Can we read this without laughing? A challenge that we failed. It isn't really bad creepypasta as you would come to know it. So for that, for me, I'd say for a piece of YouTube content, it's maybe a 5. For my own nostalgia, I'm going to push it to a 6, I think. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to rate these, and then because there's usually a delay of about 30 seconds or so on YouTube, I'll then look at the chat and see what you guys put. Oh, you guys have said 6 as well. That's yeah, interesting. That you'd make the same choice. I wasn't looking at the chat, so the truth about my death. Okay, so I barely fucking remember this episode. So here's an interesting thing, because in some ways it is better than the first episode, because in this one we're actually starting to become a show that riffs rather than is just laughing. But it is fucking shit, and we are not remotely funny in it. So I'm going to give this one a 4. And then see what you guys have to say. Oh, by the way, if you want to play along, rather than just using the chat, the link to the IMDb is in the description. Thank you, Pimp Demon, for the 50 krona. 5 out of 10. Didn't have everyone there from what I remember. No, if you look at the cast list here, it's just me and Toby in this one. But yeah, guys, it'd be interesting if we disagree with each other, if things you like that I don't like and stuff. But yeah, if anybody wants to go over and rate these, they are all in the it's in the description, the link to do it. I think you just need a social media account of some kind or an email address, and you should be able to sign up. See Jacob in the corner there. I think that's just linked through my Instagram or Facebook. Yeah, but I don't think this episode's very good at all. Although it's got a 7.3. That's the average rating from other IMDb users, so someone likes it. All right, Teke. Okay, this one's got a fucking 8. I need to stop looking at the consensus on here because that's going to influence my decision in the same way that the chat's going to influence my decision. This one is kind of terrible and kind of good at the same time. It's like the bullseye of bad creepypasta episodes. I don't think Toby and I are particularly funny on it, but there is the pedantry about the running on your elbows thing. I think this is probably the best episode so far that we've come across, and with that in mind, I think I'm going to go 7. Like, I'd say, because like 6, I'd say above average, 7 is like a solid good. So I think I'm going to give that a 7. Let's have another butchers at the chat. Thank you, Uncle Palpy, for the £2. Reviewing nostalgic content, being a critic, even. Are we going to talk about how Eminem has started to look like nostalgia critic? That's a conversation we all need to have. Interesting, yeah. So, interesting that there's a tremendous disagreement between me and the chat here. I would say that my favorite of the first 3 episodes is Tege, but that's probably gotten the lowest, of what you guys have said. So, next up, A Chow's Demise. I don't really remember this one, but it is the full one with all 3. Now, with this one, I am going to need your help, because I don't really remember it. I know this is one with who would name a Chow Quare? That's literally all I can remember. So, that probably doesn't speak positively about the score we're going to give it, but I'm going to ask you guys in the chat, is it any good? And while we wait for that, I'm going to say a big thank you to Pyramid Gaming for the $6.99 Canadian dollars. Thanks for making high school bearable, Jacob and friends. Chuck E. Cheese is easily top 10. Thank you, King. And, nobody likes high school, so don't even worry about it. I'm glad we could be of assistance. Okay, 5, 6, 4, 4, 4, 4. Wow. We do not like this episode, do we? 8 Quares out of 10. 5 Chows out of 10. 5, 6, 5. Okay, it looks like 5 is the majority, so we're not going to rate too many of them this way, because I want to try and do them as best as I remember them. But we're going to go 5, because it's not an episode I remember very well, and that seems to be kind of the consensus in the chat. Okay, Sally EXE. Now, somebody's added something to the description of this one, because I remember when this was first put up on IMDb, it did not say furry degenerate. I'm not complaining that it says that. It's a very funny word pairing. But, yeah. Anyway, I like this one, Sally.exe. This one, for me, was when the show started to fall into a kind of rhythm. And this was the first one where I lost patience with the story and had Toby finish it, which would become a tradition on the show. I like this one. I don't think it's deserving of its current rating on IMDb, which is quite high. But I think, for me, this is another 7. Let's move on. All right, 7, 6, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9. Yeah, there's some good and bad in the chat for that one. And what I'm going to do as well is I'm also going to make sure that we don't influence each other. So I'm not going to give my thoughts for a moment. So I'm not looking at the chat. I won't give my thoughts for a moment. So you guys have got a chance to post your thoughts and ratings. Then I'll do mine, and then I'll have a look and see if they... Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to not influence each other too much, if that makes sense. This is far more fun than it has any right to be. We're literally just sitting on a fucking website, database of film and TV content. So Mario for me is kind of a weak one. So it's got some good stuff. I think it's got the constant ellipses thing, which is fun to play around with. The Mario thing is fun. The sort of toad heads and all this. I remember having fun on this one, but it's nothing special. I think we're going to go 6. Above average, and a good episode from that era when the show was still finding its feet, but I think it's a step down from Sally.exe. But let's see if you agree with me. All right, let's have a look. All right, 10, 7, 7, 2. Wow, that's pretty harsh, but you're entitled to that opinion. 5, 8, 5, 7, 7. So the real mix, real interesting mix. Another 10, 8. Yeah, real interesting mix of opinions. Yeah, just to be clear, guys, we're ranking the episodes, not the stories. Right. Okay, so I think what's fun about this one is immediately you look at the average ranking on IMDb for this episode, and it's damn near 10. So like we definitely did something right with this one. A close encounter with the Tails doll. Let's remind ourselves a little bit. Lucky Kid lands on the ground whilst escaping Killer Doll. Just the 3 guys in this one. And yeah, not much to say about it really. I'm very pleased with this episode. I think it turned out rather well. I think it's funny. Some of the jokes are maybe a little obvious. That's kind of the way we do things. There's a lot of rambling, but I think this is the one. I said earlier we kind of found the formula a little bit with Sally.exe. I feel like this is the moment when it was like, okay, this is a show now. Like, we know what we're doing. We know what to say and how to bounce off of each other. And for that, I think it could be better. It's not perfect, but it's very strong for what it is. So I'm bouncing between an 8 and 9. I know that I'm basically sucking my own dick with this ranking, but I'm bouncing between an 8 and 9 for this one. I think I'm going to go with 8 just to be a little more humble. But I think it's a really strong one. But what did you guys think? I guess it's more fucking 4s and shit. And I'm like, oh, I'm really out of touch with my own audience. Okay, a bunch of 10s. Alright, okay. Fair enough. Certified Hood Classic. 10, 10, 9, 10, 7. Oh, yeah. 7, 9. So yeah, quite divisive. Thank you very much, Brain Flayer, for the 10 Australian dollars. Who can forget, with luck, I landed on the ground. Absolutely iconic moment. I'm very, very... And it's not even... I'm not even being selfish when I say iconic because we didn't write that. That's in the story. That's not our joke. 900 out of 10. Yeah, it seems to be a popular one. I like it a lot. I'm very pleased with it. Call of Duty World at War beta disc. Okay, so... Right, these descriptions are going to be helpful, but I do know that at some point they run out because I've had to look through these before. A gamer realizes why beta discs aren't usually released to the public. Nazi ghosts. Yeah, I think there's the Hitler thing, which is funny. But other than that, I don't know. Nothing in this one really stands out to me. I don't remember it all that well. I think I'm going to hit 5 and then just see what you guys think. But yeah, this is gonna be a 5 from me. Sounds like Gemma's back from drama class. I'll probably quiz her. That's a very loud door closing. I'm assuming something went poorly, but hopefully it was all right. It's quite a loud door closing. Welcome back.
Yeah, hello.
How was drama?
Good.
Yeah, is everything right? Sounds like you kind of slammed the door on your way in.
No, I was fine. It was just cold.
Gemma's here, everyone.
Oh, hello.
Oh, can you not have the internet on?
That's fine.
Because it just won't work if you do.
That's alright. You getting it working now, yeah?
Yeah, but I have to do it in like super low res and with no other internet applications on.
Okay.
So thank you, Nagi Hollis, for the $4.99. Welcome back, man. Glad to see you're feeling better. You're rocking up by yourself. Is anyone else coming? Well, Gemma's here. She's gotten back from drama. So she'll probably join us when she gets a second wind, I expect.
Yeah. Toby was outside, but he's gone now.
Okay. So yeah, there's some high and some low ratings for that one. Again, a bit of a mixed bag. So we'll move on to the next episode. You're quite early into the rankings, so we're still on season 1, so you haven't missed much.
Oh yeah.
It'd be nice to have your input actually on some of these.
Yeah, I ranked them all. So.
Oh, okay. Well, let's pretend you didn't, and that you're ranking them for the first time. Think about like at drama when you learn the lines.
And then I speak them.
Yeah,
like
as
I'm
if
saying them for the first
So
time.
think about that. Like think about what you ranked them, and then do that as if. To be fair, you don't have to remember what you ranked them. You can just do it again, can't you?
To be fair, I don't remember what I did. Do I remember anything? No, I don't.
I don't fucking remember half these episodes. Link falls under the hypnotic influence of a Scottish boat that tells him to kill people. What the fuck? Okay, realist possible talk for a moment. Is this a real episode? Did we actually do this?
We did Act 2 this evening, and quite happy with it.
Yeah. Does everyone know the lines?
Well, Act 2 is the drop script for Act 2 is like March, so we've been doing Act 1 to the point where we can pretty much get it without any issues, and then Act 2 is a bit different. I need to be as quick as a flash because my costume changes are going to be absolutely ridiculous if I am having to understudy on the day for the other character.
Well, let's hope that won't happen.
Yeah, but if not, I'll figure it out.
This episode is the origin of my Sonic voice. Well, for that, it gets 5. Everyone was saying 4 in the chat, but it gives us the Sonic EXE voice. For me, that's a 5. Fuck you.
Are you reading the chats?
Yes.
Okay.
What I'm doing is not really, because that's on my 4G, the chat.
Okay.
So I've got my Wi-Fi's turned off. What I'm doing is like not looking at the chat and then not saying my thoughts for a moment, so they can all type what they think while I don't look at it. Then I say my thoughts and give it a ranking, and we see if they match up. But sometimes I need their help because I'm going to be real. I don't remember every one of these.
No, that makes sense. I'm going to.
There are 145 episodes. Did you know that? There's 145 episodes.
Jesus, I did not know that.
So, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. The spelling alone makes it a good one. A sinister video game conspires to assassinate the president for some reason. I remember enjoying this one, having a good time. I'd say it's above average simply for the president thing. So I'm going to hit that one with a 6.
What did I go for? Well, I gave it a 7.
All right. Well, what we can do then, once you're a little bit more kind of unwound, you have decompressed, you can actually, I'll talk to you and we can discuss them, because I think that'll be more fun for people. Do you know what I mean?
So guys, I'm not reading the chat, so if you have said hello to me, I appreciate it. But if you haven't, you know who you are.
We've got a couple of 8 out of 10s and stuff, and 10s, so people like that one a lot.
I give it a 7, personally, for pretty much the ending and your reaction to the ending.
So here's an interesting one. This is not an episode that comes up very often.
I don't remember.
No one ever tells me this is their favourite. Look, it's got an 8.2. The things I remember about this one are the Mario kind of drowning in lava, and I remember the guy. This is the one where we discover that in the universe of this creepypasta, in the creepypasta literary universe, the law states that if a game has lousy artwork, it's free. I remember that because I was like, "That's fucking." It's like the artwork was bad. No wonder it was free. And then we kind of went off on a tangent about that. This was the episode with Sup3 Mass 70999 as well, which has stayed with me. I think I've used that as a username on a few things.
It's noise to me. I do not remember that episode, but apparently I ranked it as 6.
Yeah, I probably like it more than that. I remember this one. It's weird because it's kind of Mandela effecty for me because I don't really remember it as such, but I remember that it creased me up doing it, and I remember having a lot of fun doing this one. So I'm probably going to go 7. Because you've said 6. I'm going to say 7. But yeah, it's close enough. But yeah, I'll see if we, and again, we'll consult the chat and see what they have to say.
Cool.
Oh, I just slipped.
You alright?
Yeah, there's a few people like, yeah. A lot of people don't remember this one. I enjoyed making this one, but again, no one seems to remember it at all. It's like complete fucking Darkwing Duck scenario for most of the audience. Alright, so let's move on. Okay, now, you're gonna say that was white noise? I literally do not remember this episode. TF2 Nightmare. What the fuck is this? And this one doesn't even have a plot. This is one of the only episodes we've seen so far with no plot. Add a plot. I don't even know what it is. I can't do that.
That one for me was like kind of like you were reading somebody's dream journal.
Right. There's a few like that, aren't there?
Like it was just like, and then this happened, and then I was in this game, and then I was in this game, and then I was in this game, and the heavy from Team Fortress 2 was there, and he said, "Where is my gun?" I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't remember it.
I
can't honestly rank this because I don't remember it.
I made that up. I was not recounting the story to you. I just assumed that's what it was.
There's a lot of just jumping with different ones, different scores. There's no consensus, so we're just gonna go average.
I put 5.
Yeah, we'll go average. And then hopefully the next episode will ring some bells. Yes, what I can remember doing.
I remember this one.
I remember reading this in the pub, actually, with the boys.
Was this in the pub?
No, actually, we talked about this in the pub, but we didn't actually read it. We went to the Rose of England, which is like the quietest pub in the world. It's the pub where we shot the pub scene from Grey Sea, and just sat there with a laptop and just did like a podcast in there, and it didn't matter because it was like there was no one to interrupt us. We just chatted.
Yeah.
I like this one. Luigi the Second Banana takes revenge on Mario. It's a pretty accurate description. I like this one a lot. It was presented. It's some people will say, "Oh, it's a troll pasta," and does it count? It's like, well, I think if we fell for it, I think it counts. Most creepypasta channels at the time, you big guys, you Some Ordinary Gamers, and you Mr. Creepypastas, were treating it as an authentic story and doing dramatic, scary readings of it and giving it, "Oh, this is 9 out of 10, it's so scary." And because of that, it managed to do this thing where it was extremely funny because it was straight-faced enough to pass itself off as a real one. A lot of other troll ones don't fly under the radar the same way. Like last episode of Wheel of Fortune, for example, it didn't take us long to realise it was a joke. Something like this, we got to the end and thought it was a serious one. I remember having a lot of fun with this one. I can't really differentiate between part 1 and 2, but I remember lots of ridiculing of the purple prose and the excessive use of ellipses. This is a good one for me. I like this one. I'm going to give this a very high rating. Gemma, what do you think?
I give it a 9 for both parts.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to go 9. I mean, it's very hard to get a 10. Like, a 10 is, like, flawless. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, 10 is, like, perfect episode. Like, I'm trying to think of an example of an episode of something that's a 10. I can think of some films with an episode of something that's a 10.
What did I give a 10 recently?
I really hope we don't get a fucking copyright claim for Logan watching The Simpsons on this TV. I Hate You Part 2. Again, I can't really differentiate between parts 1 and 2, so I'm going to hit that 9, and then I'm going to have a look at the chat.
Yeah, I went for a 9.
Oh, speaking of iconic, here's Thomas. So, thank you, Pimp Demon, for the 20 krona. Bad Creepypasta right now is over 40 hours long. Who allowed that? Who allowed us to do this?
You did. Thing is, even though the story was a troll, you guys reading it was funny because for like a lot of different reasons. Just like Toby sort of trying to leave when you're like, this was pasta of the month.
Yeah,
That was
just
very,
like storms out.
That's brilliant.
Well, because it was treated as serious by the whole community, not just us.
Yeah, until a lot later.
Yeah, well, the thing is, he had actually put on his web, because it was released on his website first of all, and he had said on the website that it wasn't meant to be taken seriously, but most people had read it on the Creepypasta wiki.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Vince12, for the $10. It would be a mighty big shame if you scorned the episodes in which I have appeared. None of them have come up yet. We're still very early. Look, it's episode 16 of season 1. We're still very early. Also, on a completely unrelated note, American History X sure is a great film, don't you think? I really like American History X, although it's one of those movies where I find myself thinking about the film it could have been, because I think there are problems with it, particularly in the edit. That's when we were talking about the scale on here. That's an 8 for me, American History X.
Yeah, I do the same. Basically, Edward
Like
Norton,
a low 8, high 7, but an 8.
Edward Norton took over that project to the point where Tony Scott doesn't even want to be associated with it anymore, because basically Edward Norton got the final say in the edit. So he doesn't think of it as his film anymore. He thinks of it as Edward Norton's film. And I still like it, but it could have been like a 10.
So, Gemma, I feel like we should be coming to conclusions like together as a team on this.
Mm-hmm.
But before we start doing that, I'm going to do one last one of just me ranking it so I can completely dick ride myself and give Thomas a 10. Fuck all of you, I don't care. This is, for me, one of the funniest things I've said or done just as a person, is this video.
I think it makes it funnier that you came across somebody eventually with the name Valerie Hudson when you were working.
Oh, God, that was hysterical.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, because it was shortly after. Do you know what I mean? It was like within like 6 months, I think, of doing this video. And I was like, oh no.
I gave it a 9. Like, it's almost a 10, but I give it a 9.
What would make it a 10 for you, do you think?
Well, the thing is, like, you and Matt are at your best, like, genuinely, in that episode. Like, one, and, literally, I'd say if it would have been a 9 if it was slightly longer. I think that the story personally it gets a 1 off because the story didn't do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah, I think it's perhaps as well if there'd been Toby or one other person there, it might have crossed over into a 10. It's a 10 for me because I'm very proud of it, but from here on out, we're going to try. Gemma and I are going to try and do this as a team. So for me, I think Kirby's Dead Land. Whoa! So just remind ourselves what this episode is. Fucking hell! Listen to this description. A child gets nostalgic for a recent game. The boys discover that their friend Rob is scarily unfunny, and the poor cunt is linked. Do you know what I mean? He's like, if he were to look himself up on IMDb, there it is. He is. The community has labelled him scarily unfunny. I mean, they're not wrong. So, his real name. Okay, so this one's fucking shit.
Kirby's Dead Land. Thing is, I know your stories about Rob, so that makes it amusing, right? Okay.
Toby, just slid into the chat 0.
I enjoyed the references to Victor Vapor Rub. I think that's the only thing I can remember from it. And yeah, but it's not very good.
Yeah. So it's got a 7.3. I think it's not irredeemable. Like, so it's not a 1 because a 1 would be like unwatchable, like absolute garbage, makes you angry. A 2 is like you're never really gonna sit and watch it again, which is kind of probably where I am.
I've never watched it. Like since the second.
But I will say there are some good jokes here and there, not from Rob, but from the rest of us. I think I'm going to go 3 out of 10 for this one. It's the lowest rating so far I've given an episode. I'm going to go 3 out of 10.
I'd say a high 3.
High 3, yeah, okay. So it says like a 3.6 or some shit.
Yeah, I'd say 3.7.
Yeah. 3 out of 10, guys. Not a good episode, one bit. Wow. You know, earlier I was like, oh, the show's really starting to find its feet, and then Kirby's Dead Land happened.
Really, it would have been a 5 if Rob wasn't in it.
Okay. All right. So the show is starting to pick up again. Sonic.exe Part 1. Strict atheist harassed by Sonic the Hedgehog. This is a tough one to rate because I don't remember recording it, and I have a good reason for not remembering why I recorded it. Simply put, I was absolutely fucked.
No, really?
So I don't fully recall this one as such. I don't remember which part was which and all this sort of thing. So it's going to be hard to break. I might review it all as one and just give each one episode the same rating. You guys don't have to do that if you want to give them individual. Well, you don't have to take part at all. If you want to give them individual rankings, that's fine. But I'm probably going to give it one ranking as a whole. The drinking game is what saves it for me. I think the story itself is funny. It provides us with some laughs, but it does wear out its welcome. It's very long, hence the 3 parts. But I think the drinking game salvages a lot of the problems with the story.
Yeah, I genuinely think if it wasn't a drinking game, I think you guys would have got very exasperated to the point where you were yes, you're getting angry because you were drunk, but at the same time, it would have been less funny if you were sober reading it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, the fact that you're getting angry, especially at yourselves for drinking it whilst doing it, because it's like, and blood, oh, fuck's sake.
Yeah. It got to the point where it was like, I hadn't even... Like, there was another shot coming, and most of us, myself included, hadn't swallowed the previous one.
Yes.
And, it was...
So a lot of the comedy does come from you guys. And whilst the story is in itself... but yeah, I think it would have been not so much a dry read. I think you guys would have managed to make it very, very funny. But I think that the drinking game really did. Yeah. I agree with you. It salvaged it.
I'm very pleased with it.
Oh,
I'm very pleased with how it turned out. The things that stop it from being a 10 for me are the fact that it's too long, and the fact that it takes a while for the drinking to properly start. Because from what I recall, once it starts, it's just a fucking avalanche of booze. But we have to get into because none of this stuff really happens until he puts the game disc in. The rest of it's just build up and build up and build up, and we're sat there quietly waiting to drink, which happens a lot with movie drinking games and things like that. That's what stops it being a 10 for me, and the fact it's too long, which probably stops it being a 9. So I'm gonna give this an 8. I see it's got a 9.7 on IMDb, so people do really like it. I'm gonna go 8 for Sonic EXE though, which is probably lower than some of you. I haven't looked at the chat yet, because I'm going to rank all 3 parts first. Matt, Jacob, and Toby fell further down the rabbit hole of blood and booze. That's absolutely accurate. I'm going to give that an 8. And then I think I heard a jingle, so I'll have a look at the super chat in a moment as well.
I would give it...
And no plot for part 3, apparently. That's got a 9.8, part 3. That's just, I mean, that's bordering on perfect in people's minds.
I'd give it a high 8, an 8.8 for the whole thing as a whole.
It is good. I'm really pleased with it.
Yeah, you should be.
All right, so let's have a butcher's at the chat for a moment, see what people think. Oh, there's a couple of super chats to read as well. Drinking game, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 9, 10 out of 10, easy 10. Peter, thank you so much for the $9.99. This was before you found out how horrible a person JC the Hyena was. We've actually started asking people to visualize what would happen if he had a run-in with Sammy the Bull. I don't know who that is, but the name suggests he's quite big and strong. So, quite a violent occurrence, I expect. Birdman, thank you for the $5. Birdman Dan, rather. I hope you guys are happy to know that you almost killed me and my girlfriend when we played the drinking game watching along. To be honest with you, Birdman, I'm just glad you played the drinking game, because the amount of people that just play it with water, I just think you're kind of missing the point.
All you're going to end up doing if you drink it with water is you're going to put on a bunch of water weight while you do it. That's literally, and that's not worth it.
Thank you very much, Rudy Jazz, for the Charlton Heston Franks, 10 of them. I don't know what that currency is, I'm just making it up. Exhaustion is catching up.
Swiss.
Brain deciding it will stop working unless I sleep. Here's 10 money, 10 Charlton Heston Franks. because you're epic. 99th. Well, thank you, Rudy. I appreciate that. You too are epic. Uncle Palpy, thank you for the £2. N8. Just how JC likes them. I just saw Toby. Part 3 of Sonic EXE. Fans be like, masterpiece! Okay, so let's see what the next one is. I'm going to stop looking at the chat so we can not influence each other too much. Alright, it will get worse. The description simply reads, the boy's face there, which is spelled incorrectly, by the way, so that's lovely. Well done, IMDb user. The boy's face, their greatest challenge yet, Google Translate. Okay, let's wait a moment so those guys can like start typing in their thoughts and everything before we influence them. Okay, iconic, mesmerizing, easily the best thing since Jaws. These are just many ways you could describe it will get worse.
Yeah, I can sort of picture that, like
this is the one.
Ebert, Gene Siskel giving it, whatever they wanted to.
This for me, it's not even for me. It's just things I can remember. So Toby's caveman impression, and then Toby having the intelligence of a caveman, thumping himself in the chest to be a caveman and actually hurting himself. That's like a top 10 moments from the show for me. There's the after 10 minutes I was able to touch me.
Yes.
And the thing about like, oh, my GameCube, I kept it outside of a box. It was dusty. And Matt's just like, because you didn't keep it in a fucking box. So this is one of the very few episodes of season 1 I can remember vividly. I can actually quote this episode. And I can't quote a lot of early BCP episodes. Mostly because I was very drunk for a lot of them. And also because a lot of them were in 2013, 2014. But this one, I'm very pleased with it. It's short, it's to the point, it does everything I want it to do. I think this is a perfect episode. Gemma, what do you think?
Let me see. Right, I would say that I would not give it a full 10. But I would give it like at least like a 9.5, like for me. Like I think it's fantastic, but I think the one thing that I would have given 10 this season, that the least that's been on so far, I think, is Close Encounters with the Tails doll, because that has absolutely everything I wanted and more to give it a 10, and it's literally half a point off getting a 10. I'd go 9.5 personally.
Okay, for me, it's a 10 for me, but because this is like a discussion, we'll go with 9.
Okay.
Because I think that's still extremely high. And let's read Super Chats. Peter Melick, thank you for the $4.99. Just to remind you, Sammy the Bull is a YouTuber who used to be the underboss of the Gambino crime family. You might have heard of his boss, John Gotti. Yes, I have heard of Gotti. There was a terrible film about him. Biblically Accurate Angel, £2, multiple fish. Well, he's got me there. Okay. Let's go! Oh no.
Yes.
Okay, yes, Blood Whistle. Again, we'll take a moment. People start typing their own shit in here, and for a moment before we start influencing them. So Blood Whistle, again, I'm not going to do the reviewing each part thing, because it's just a pain in the ass for me, so I'm just going to do it as though it was one episode.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't think it's very funny, and I think the joke wears thin really fucking quickly. We have like 2 jokes in this whole thing. The joke is, haha, wouldn't it be funny if we read real books? And the other joke is, wouldn't it be funny if we all sang? It's especially funny because I've said this before, we were all really fucking sick. So trying to sing remotely in tune, we're like, is funny, but it's funny for like 7 minutes. And it just fucking continues for the rest of the episode. This, for me, it's not horrible. Like, I wouldn't even say it's bad as such, but there's nothing to me that's great about it. And for that, it's a 5 for me.
So, here's my thought process with it. I like it more than you do, But I agree with you. Like, I think that Blood Whistle's like, it is a horrible story. It's very boring, but there's bits in that like is this the is I Hate You, or is it this one with the is this Rom hack?
This is the one. This is the Illuminati one.
The Illuminati. That could this hack be the work of the Illuminati? Like, that creased me to the point where I was in tears.
Yeah.
That line. I'd say the first 2 parts would get like a 6, and then the last 2 parts would get like a 7, because the fact that you guys, I know that obviously the joke doesn't wear thin for a while, but it's hugely funny to me that you and Matt are just sitting reading like proper books like The Prince and like other stuff, whilst you're basically just pawning it off on Toby.
It's genuine, like, it borders on bullying.
It's like, it's watching bullying in real time.
Yeah, he's trying to read this thing and I'm just reading fucking Machiavelli instead.
Yes. And then part 4, what kind of, like, hearing you guys sing and trying your best when you've all got really bad colds.
Yeah, it's like we're all trying to stay in tune and it's not happening.
The comedy comes from that as opposed to actually what you're doing.
Yeah, you've talked me around a bit. I think we're going to go 6. Do you think that's fair?
Yeah, I say if I was to give the first 2 parts a 6 and the second 2 parts a 7, I'd go for an overall, like, 6.5. So I would give it like a 6.
I'm going to hit all episodes for a moment because I have a weird feeling that my fucking votes are not getting saved because it just, like, it wasn't there. What the oh, that's season 6. I was really worried then. Okay, let's go to season 1 and see if our ratings have actually saved. So I've got a feeling they haven't, because that prompted me to rate it again when I was done. Not that it matters, we're just doing it for the purpose of the video, but it's just a bit annoying. Oh yeah, they've worked, cool. Okay. TF2 Nightmare didn't work though. What did we rate that? I don't even fucking remember. 4? 3? 4. I think 4. That one didn't work, okay. Sonic XC Part 1 didn't rate for some reason. This is fucking weird. Okay. Alright, Blood Whistle. We'll do Blood Whistle this way. Why am I going 8? No, 5. 6. I can't fucking remember. It was 6, yeah, because it was largely an average experience with some really standout moments. And then I'll have a look at what the chat thinks. Yeah, it's probably not fair to rank them as whole things rather than individual episodes, but that's how we're doing it, because otherwise we'll be here until Christmas. So
yeah,
there's a lot of multi-parters to get through. So
especially in season 3.
Yeah. Pyramid Gaming, thank you so much for the Canadian dollars, $2.79. When you have to sing to finish the story. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Brain Flayer, thank you for the $5 Australian. Could this hack be the work of the Illuminati? It's a great moment, but it's a stand-up moment in a largely bland story, I think. Peter, thank you for the $4.99. Do you still have your copy of The Prince somewhere? And if you didn't start reading that, what book would you have reached for? I don't know. I might have grabbed something non-fiction, but I could have equally just as much have grabbed Dracula or something, a classic. Over on the bookshelf, I look to my left now, the stuff that's immediately available there's some non-fiction. There's a book on Scottish battles, but there's also Dune and some Stuart McBride stuff. That's Gemma's. Dune's hers as well, but it's something I would read. And and there's David Wong, who's really funny, his stuff. So this book is full of spiders. Is over there.
Also, from what I can see The Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, so, I'd grab something vaguely interesting. And was there another super chat? Was it the last one? Yeah, it was the last one. Cool. All right, so Jeff the Killer. Whoa! So this is a fucking big one, because I don't know how good the episode actually is, because I'll be damned if I can remember that far back. But what I do remember is this gave us a few things. One, it gave us the Jeff voice, which has stuck around for the better part of a decade. That is the official, in at least our world, canon voice for Jeff. You know, oh bloody hell, I've shit myself. You know, that's I shit me sin. Like that's how he speaks now. He's elderly and from rural Yorkshire.
He's got a Castrol. He listens to the Arctic Monkeys. It's all.
It's the birth of Lou as well, homicidal Lou with Nandayo, you know, and all of that, the sort of borderline racist stuff, which is, you know, perhaps not aged amazingly well.
Also,
it was a different time back in 2013.
Was it also the introduction of MD Phantasm to the channel?
Yes, it was. We read a request of his, but this was his first appearance as a guest on the show. This, to me, I don't know. I think we nail it. Really, there's a couple of moments where, like, because we're quite okay. So you're gonna see a pattern here in seasons like 1 to 3. We're quite drunk on this one. Yeah, this is before Matt got diabetes, so we could just drink, and we're just drinking screwdrivers the entire time. So if anyone thinks like we're always drinking beer, we were not. We were just necking fucking screwdrivers this entire video, and by the end, Toby is like blitzed and really loses his temper, which I think does kill the moment for a minute. But that's probably the only thing stopping it being like a solid fucking 10 for me.
Yeah, I would go for a 9.
Yeah, fucking yeah, it's a 9, right? Like it has to be. It just is. Like it's just a 9 out of 10. Sucking my own dick. 9 out of 10. Just hear the fucking Simpsons in the distance. As well, like, let's have a butchers at the chat. Mm-hmm. Thank you, No Flu. You're just flexing, aren't you, that you don't have the flu and everybody else has got it. Thank you for the €15. Thank you guys for the entertainment over the years. Still have one of your posters in my PC room. This donation is in the name of the Axel Society and Stoney. Pour one out for Stoney, everybody. For our boy, our fallen comrade. Thank you, No Flu. Thank you, Peter. $4.99. Go to sleep, no problem, because the story is cliche and it spawns so many bad spin-offs and rip-offs. Brain Flayer, $5 Australian. Thank you. It was also the introduction of the legendary Dr. Raven Cuckoo. It was, wasn't it? He'll have a psychological test because he had quite a lot of ibuprofen, so he might stab himself in the fucking mouth.
It's a bit like it's a mixture between Plinkett's voice and Edgar from Men in Black. That's the way I can sort of picture it.
Yes, that's exactly it. The voice. It's Mr. Plinkett and fucking Vincent D'Onofrio in Men in Black.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really happy with the Jeff the Killer 3-parter. I think it's some of the best material in season 1, definitely.
Oh, by the way, just in case, just to show you how time has passed, Jacob and I have been together 6 years as of yesterday.
Yes. Yesterday was our anniversary, would you believe?
Yes. So that is how passage of time works, but at the same time, it's like...
It was so funny on Logan's birthday, looking at your Facebook memories, and every year, you said the same thing, I can't believe he's X number of years old. And I'm like, it's the same day! How are you, like, still unable to believe it?
Yeah, but the thing is, I was 16 when I had him, and then it got to the point where, like this year, you know, him turning 12... And I'm turning 29 at the end of the year, and I'm just like, I'm a 12-year-old, and I'm 28 years old. It was just like, how? Like, I know how, but it's just one of those things where it's just like, I can't believe that he's grown that big.
Oh, pardon me, it's fucking grim. It's like burped in a big way. Okay, Call of Duty Black Hell Ops. I don't really remember this one. I think this is the one with Bootman Bill.
I always get mixed up between Call of Duty Beta Disc and Black Hell Ops because I have this feeling that Bootman Bill is in Beta Disc, but Black Hell Ops, I remember something about he resembled Hitler.
No, that's the other way around.
Is it definitely the other way around?
It absolutely is, yeah. I'm giving this one a 5 because to me this is the definition of average. I don't really remember much about it. I think, from what I remember, it was kind of funny. It was fine, but a massive step down in quality after Jeff. So that's a 5 out of 10 for me.
I'd go the same. And to hear number 6, wait, he's 12 already. He'll be 12 in June. And then Hendrix Putt says, why were you 16? Because it was.
Because you were 1 year older than 15 and 1 year younger than 17, presumably.
Yeah. It wasn't planned.
Yeah, it was like picturing Gemma at 16. It's like, you know what? I've not long left school. I'm of the age where I can legally get married. I'm immediately going to settle down and have a kid now. It's like, no, of course it wasn't a planned thing. It's just something that happened to you.
I was a few months off being 17. That's the only thing. That's about it.
Yeah, that makes it not any less embarrassing.
It's not any less embarrassing,
yeah.
No.
But, it happened, and, despite your disadvantages, you raised a pretty good kid.
Yeah.
And then he was like 5 when we met.
Yep.
And, I'm quite fond of him. I like him most of the time. He's a good kid.
Yeah, I'm pretty fond of him as well.
Yeah, he's alright.
He's growing on me a lot.
Yeah, mixed bag. Looking in the chat for Black Helops. Some 7s, some 4s. And it's all. So yeah, 5 seems like a sensible one. Solely to Bad Blood. What the fuck was this one? I don't remember this at all.
So this was the first episode I ever watched.
Why did you subscribe?
I thought you guys were funny. Like I think this one was just you and Matt.
Let's have a look.
No,
me and Toby, just two of us, me and Toby.
And then I went. What I do is it came up on the side when I was looking for stuff. I think I was when the recommended videos.
Yeah.
I was looking. I think I was watching top 10 stuff, but it was related to something that you guys had done. Because a couple of your videos came up, but I clicked on Soul Eater Bad Blood as first, and then that was your newest episode that just came out. So it must have been it was the January. So I watched it, thought you guys were funny, and then I went back to the beginning.
Yeah.
So and then I started, and then I went to Tailstall all the way through the other ones. And became a fan. So
I'm gonna have to ask you to rate this one because I don't remember it.
I remember it more because I've seen Soul Eater.
Yeah.
I've seen the whole anime, and it was I think I would have given it a 6.5 because I was like, there's some really good comedy in here, and that's why I went back to your other videos and then basically subscribed from then on.
All right, 6 it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I give it a 6.5. 6.
Yeah.
Because.
All right, boys. I mean, I think we might have hit another 10. Just saying. I'm just saying, lads. Oh, no plot added for this one. Add a plot. No need. There's no need to add the plot for this episode. It is beyond words. Such words. Oh, this one's fucking weird, isn't it? This episode.
This one I'd probably give a 9 because Luna is nowhere near as funny as such words.
Yes, but it does have. Again, this is how I know it's good. It's a season 1 episode, and I can quote it. That's how I know it's good. It has. All she did was ask me why a girl was singing at the moon.
That's.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah, I'd give it. I'd go 9.7.
Yeah, you're gonna go high 9. I want to say 10. What do people in the chat think? We'll actually give them the final say, I think. Okay, quite a few 10s. We've got some 8s as well. 10, 8, 9, 8, 10, 10, 10, 7. Jesus. 7. What the fuck is up with you guys? 9. Right, I think we're going to go with 9 because while there are quite a few 10s, there's a couple of weirdly placed 7s dragging it down. So thanks, dicks. So I'm going to go 9 for that one. It's one of my favourite episodes. This is if I were to rank my favourite episodes, this would be number 3 or something. So it's 10 for me.
It's in my top 10, but not all my top 10s are going to be 10 out of 10. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, totally. But yeah, that's a top.
So it's in the lower part of my top 10.
Easily a top 5, maybe top 3 episode for me. So here's another episode I don't fucking remember. So I'm guessing this is going to be around the 5 mark.
Alexo was the first Alexo collab. I really liked how batshit Last Night was because they tried to do Lovecraft and failed miserably.
Christ, that was the Call of Cthulhu one.
Yes. Like, Cthulhu. We brought Cthulhu. But the mall stalker one, there wasn't even any stalker. It was just like some guy walking around a mall and getting frightened.
I don't remember anything of it. No, there was something about heavy metal in that one as well. Yeah, I think Last Night bumps it up a bit, but not enough. This is a 4 for me. What do you think?
I'm gonna go, yeah, high 4. Alexa's commentary sort of was good. So like, if I was to give Last Night a 2, Alexa's commentary as being a, like, you know, a new introduction was be another 2. Does that make sense? Like, that's what I'd go.
Yeah, a lot of a mixed bag in the comments. 5, 7, 2. Yeah.
That was it, Mateta. It was a zombie dream.
Yeah.
The ball stalker, and I'm like, right, okay.
It just kind of felt like Tina from Bob's Burgers. Okay, so here's another interesting one. Mindless Max.
All I remember about this episode really being is that you were sick, and it was mostly Toby Matt reading.
I know this is the one with massive mind loss.
Yes. I'd say it was an average episode.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty. It's got funny moments, but it's largely flat. There is nothing inherently terrible about it, and there's nothing that stands out as great to me either. If I were feeling narcissistic enough to say rate every single episode of Bad Creepypasta and were to listen to them, I would not skip this one. I've got nothing against it, but I don't love it. So yeah, 5. I think that's a good ranking for it.
Yeah, personally for me.
What the fuck? See what? Look at that.
Yeah, the thing for me is that if I actually,
Cunt.
if I actually, like, were to go back and start watching it all, I would skip this one just because if I was to sort of push all the ones together that I wanted to listen to, it wouldn't make my list. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like,
okay, it's
if it was on, I'd listen to it. But it's like one of those. It's like I could take or leave it. But it's I would say it's an average episode.
Okay, so Squidward suicide. Nickelodeon intern watches a spooky tape he should have no access to because he's an intern.
English teacher, great addition.
Yeah, so there's some really funny stuff in there. I don't think it's one of the funniest, because I think, like some of these like early episodes, it has one continuous running joke, which is just haha, we've got an English teacher grading this one. Having said that, the joke for me, because it is quite a short episode, it doesn't wear out its welcome, even though it's just the one joke. So this is a good, I think it's probably a high scoring episode for me.
Was this your 1,000 subscriber special?
2,000 subscriber special.
2,000.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this is like an 8 for me.
It's a high 8 for me.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go with 8.
Yeah, I'd go for like 8.6.
Yeah. 90-degree angle. I'll give this 8.5 out of 10. It's a pretty good cock. Okay, we're nearly at the end of season 1 now. Okay, has that fucking rate? Do you see what I mean about the rating thing on here? It's a bit, it's a bit shit.
Yeah, the phrase just, he had his hands at tentacles.
Yeah, fucking tentacles in parentheses. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, before we move on to this, I'm just like, again, I think some of these aren't real because this one doesn't even have a storyline for it, and it's an episode called PlayStation Suffer. I don't fucking know what this is.
It's where warm buttery Borderlands came from.
Oh yeah.
That's.
I like that. That's funny.
That's funny. Someone actually did fan art of that.
Yeah, it's like a Xbox thing, isn't it?
Yeah. It was something to do with, like, he plugged his PlayStation and then his Xbox or something, and that was it. It was somebody who worked for PlayStation or Xbox or something, Microsoft or Sony, and he loved video games, but he didn't have a PlayStation. I'm
gonna be real with you, Gemma, like, I'm just gonna take your word for it, whatever you say at this point, because I just do not remember PlayStation Suffer.
It's an average episode. It's like, I'd give it a 6, personally, for, like, some of the jokes, especially with you guys, like...
Let's go 5 then.
Warm buttery Borderlands, and the fact that it was like, I work as like, you know, so I love video games, but I've never had a games console before. I'm gonna go get an internship at Sony.
Thank you, Naked Man Eating in a Dumpster, For the
That's
one,
a great image.
that's for the $1.99 US. God bless homies, indeed. Gotta kiss those homies right on the chops. Okay, here's an episode I know is real, but I don't fucking remember. Again, no plot's been added either, so that's not helping. Chucky's mum and Banjo Kazooie. I know Chucky's mum's a real one because somebody did some animation of it, of like child suicide went up in New Zealand. That's from this.
Yes, I remember Chucky's mum and enjoyed it, but I have no recollection of Banjo Kazooie. Like the story, I know about the N64.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the classic video game.
Yes, I'm familiar.
Yeah, I can't really rate it because I didn't remember it.
I'd give it like a 6 for Chucky's mum, but
Okay.
I have no fucking idea what Banjo Kazooie or what happened in Banjo Kazooie because that I've completely forgotten it. I know I've watched it because I know what.
Okay, well, that's in that case. You'll say 6 is the rating for Chucky's mum.
Yeah.
We don't remember Banjo Kazooie, so we'll deduct a point and we'll make it a 5.
Yeah, 5. A lot of people are saying 5, 5, 6, 2, 5, 4. So
2.
yeah.
Okay, so last episode of Wheel of Fortune. This is an interesting one because this one was a troll like I Hate You, but unlike I Hate You, we figured this one out quickly. However, I still think I remember having fun even though we knew it was a joke. We were like, we got into it and got to the point, I think it was like something about vomit or like worms. We were like, this is a fucking joke. This isn't real. But we carried on and had a good time. This for me is like, again, I probably wouldn't skip it if I were listening to it. It's like a high 5, low 6 for me, this one.
I'd go a bit higher. I'd give it a 7. I have a lot of fun listening to this episode because whilst, the comedy is from the story, really, a lot of it, so the story does a lot of the heavy lifting. You guys have so much fun reading it. And it's nice to see you guys enjoy a story without getting, like, incredibly angry at it, whilst also making really funny jokes. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What we'll do then is, because I said 5 and you said 7, we'll go with 6.
Yeah.
What do people in the chat think?
So we've had 7, 9, 6, 8, 7, 8, 7.8, 8, 7, 7, 8, 7, 7, 7, 10 out of 10.
Oh, boys, okay, there's no fucking debate. There's no question. Tetra and the Real Chuck E. Cheese, worst episode ever, 1 out of 10. And let's move on to season 2.
I don't really remember Tetro, but I remember the Real Chuck E. Cheese, and the Real Chuck E. Cheese gets a 9. So I'd say give 1 point off for Tetro.
I do remember Tetro because Tetro has the moon-faced guy drawn in Microsoft Paint.
That is true. It does.
So that gains a point for that. So all ridiculousness aside, and obviously I'm joking with the 1 out of 10 thing. There's a fucking 10 for me.
I'm seeing 10.
I'm just dick riding myself at this point, but it's 10. It's absolutely 10.
10, 100 out of 10.
What's amazing is this isn't our highest rated episode though.
No.
Our highest rated episode was one of the Sonic EXE parts, which was 9.8. This is ranked 9.5, meaning somebody like the majority on IMDb prefer Sonic EXE to this, which is fucking bonkers in my opinion. Tetra and the Real Chuck E. Cheese, 10 out of 10. Absolutely the best episode. And it was all downhill from there. The show never really recovered.
He's flipped a chair.
We can't wait this episode.
One shark whacking moment later.
Yeah, just honestly, iconic. Probably amongst the funniest things I've ever been involved in. Alright, so Smiley. I kind of like this one.
Smiley, I do too. I think it's too busy
Yeah.
for it to get like a really high ranking for me. But it introduced a lot of people who I really enjoyed. And I would give it I think sometimes a lot of people were talking over one another because there's there's at least 6 of you there.
Yeah, it's a bit too busy, I agree.
And I would probably give it like a low 8.
Yeah, I agree. I'd probably say like low 8, maybe like a 7.6 or some shit. But since we can't do points, I'll just give it an 8.
But yeah, I'd go for...
It would be for me, you're saying high, I would probably, a low 8, I'd probably say high 7.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll, we'll be generous and give it an 8, because it would be like a very high 7 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, that's me. It's a good start to the season. I think it's a decent first episode. Certainly much better than the start of season 1. Suicide Mouse, which for... Okay, this is a Mickey Mouse cartoon. In the 1930s, Mickey Mouse is walking down the street until it fades to black for 3 minutes. It comes back, Mickey starts smiling, blood screaming, Mickey eyes come out his face. That's the plot. So I don't know who the fuck wrote that. Considering the poster for this episode has a poster, is from someone's movie, I think, about Suicide Mouse. So yeah, that's amusing. That's obviously gone a bit wrong, hasn't it? But hey ho, here we are, folkies. So let's just fucking get on with it and rate it. Suicide Mouse. What do we think of Suicide Mouse? How do we feel about Suicide Mouse? The episode, not the terrible short story upon which it is based. Oh, thank you, Pimp Demon, for the 50 kroner. The real Chuck E. Cheese is a 10 because there's an animated version of it where Jacob keeps dropping the Tails doll in a hole. That's pretty based, to be honest. Pretty red-pilled, one might say.
I'm not a fan.
Suicide Mouse? It's not one of my favourites. I think, for me, it is above what you would call average, because to me an average is like completely forgettable. I think there are some funny moments. Toby randomly bashing my piano keys and yelling about it. Toby randomly running into the room and yelling. All this kind of stuff. The general and Matt's rant about this is a true story. This is what might have happened if the Nazis had won, and he just fucking goes off and goes, "They're the Nazis, not the Horde." You know, and this sort of thing. Like, oh, I'll just leave a bunch of knives around for these children. So all of that stuff elevates it to me. So for me, it's like a 6.8.
Yeah, I'm with you because it's not one I listen to very often. I just kind of... I don't like the story in particular either.
Yeah.
So it's like...
The story's very flat, isn't it?
So it's just kind of like... All I really... The things that come to mind are the things you just mentioned.
Yeah, those are the things that to me make it above a 5.
Also the picture of you dressed as Mickey Mouse.
Yes, there's a moment where a photograph of me in a full Mickey Mouse costume comes up. Glad that's on the internet for everyone. Yeah, it's good but not great. Above average. I would rate it a 7 just because it's like a high 6, like 6.8, but I'm going to go with 6. I think I'm going to be fair and not just flagellate myself. So, not flagellate, sorry, fellate. Flagellate would be being fair and give myself a low ranking. Yeah. It's late and I might actually stop to eat in a minute, and you know, while I'm making food, I may give Gemma control of the stream. The Mannequin and Alex Melee. I fell asleep in this one. I know what this episode is because I fucking passed out.
Again, this one...
I can't in good conscience rank it because I do not remember it.
I think the Mannequin is very funny. Somebody kept saying mannequin, I think, which was quite amusing.
Thank you, Peter, for the $4.99. He was talking about the last episode. This is the episode where you forgot to hide your piano from Toby. Absolutely. Carry on.
Yeah, I think Alex Mealy was something like it was like a Super Smash Brothers thing, and the amusing thing was Matt trying to figure out if you're asleep or not, and everyone else still reading. And again, it was an episode that I have a hard time listening to because of how busy it is.
Yeah, shall we go 5 then? Because like I don't really remember it, but it seems that it has good and bad. We'll call it average.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a very mixed bag. People either don't like it or they do.
Yeah. Okay, so we're entering the realms of ones that are largely liked. I mean, this one's got a 9.2. Jeff the Killer versus Slender Man.
10.
It's like stretch 10.
10.
I do remember this is one of the times when I had a cold, and I had a packet of lockets, and I was like a paragraph in and threw it straight at the... And because before we had like a half decent mic like we have now, this is when we were recording off the internal mic, and it it hit the screen and it landed exactly where the mic is, and it made the loudest fucking slapping noise. Of just this like right onto like the glass screen. This hard pack of cold sweet, just like. And the thing.
I don't even know who he is. Could be a fucking killer for all that.
And I remember it because it was this whole thing of being Pasta of the Month, and it wasn't on the wiki. It was on CREEPYPASTA.com, and it had 9 out of 10 as the average rating for that story. And it was like there were spelling mistakes and grammatical errors in like the first paragraph, and I was just like, the opening sentence I think had a typo, and I was like 9 out of 10. Yeah, I'm really happy with how this episode turned out. It's got the 3 original amigos in it. It's a 10 for me. I'm really happy with how this one turned out, and I'm gonna go and rank part 2 10 as well, and then see what the chat has to say.
So someone gave it 9 out of 10, just like how people rated the story
Yeah.
itself. So it could be a fucking killer for all I know.
9 out of 10, brought down by the grotesque visuals. That's fair enough.
It's a 10. So as my eyelids took cover of my eyes.
Yeah, Cyber B, we're ranking multi-parters as a whole, basically. We're ranking them as full stories, because some of them are like 4 parts long, and it's just too much of a pain.
It's too much of a pain to figure out what
Yeah.
parts happened in each episode.
Yeah, it's difficult to remember when you've made so many. Jane the Killer, the real story, part 1. I like this description. A Nazi furry regales us with the tale of an obese, chain-smoking teenage serial killer.
9 out of 10. It gets dropped a point because of the visuals.
For me, I don't know if it's as good as a 9. It is an episode that I think turned out quite well. I think this is going to be a problem in certain stories that are dark and disturbing, or dealing with authors that are dark and disturbing. I think there's a little too much negativity in this one. And that knocks it down to an 8 for me personally.
I'll go for a 9 because I love you, Vince. That's about it.
Well, shall we have a look at what the audience thinks? Because you've said 9 and I've said 8. So we've got 10, 9.5, 8.5, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 9, 8 to 9, 9.
We got Big J. We got Big J Lebowski, and we got Vince's voice
10.
for.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it looks like that the audience is extremely keen on this episode. So we'll go with your ranking of 9. It's an 8 for me, just
Also,
so you all know that.
Also, like,
Become the
Vince's
type of guy
internet broke at the
Yeah.
end, where he was in the middle of
yelling, and it just fully fucking destroyed it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to season 2, because when it's on a multi-parter. What's going on with my mouse? When it's on a multi-parter, we can just scroll down like this. It's a bit easier. Okay, see, this is fucking bullshit again. Oh, they don't register. Okay, so we're going 9 for these, aren't we? Oh no, I've just seen what's next. Again, the fucking IMDb audience is like, masterpiece! There's Sonic EXE Round 2.
Right.
So, I genuinely fucking bounced. Like, I fully dipped out of the show for like a month after this. And initially, I came back because nothing was done. I hated this fucking story so much that Alexo was going to take my place on the show. Like, we actually organised it and everything, but those 3 just never recorded without me, and I was like, well, there's no fucking point, is there? And I ended up bringing it back. But I genuinely was going to leave. I fucking hated this one so much. So I can't rate this one properly because I've got too much emotional attachment to how angry it made me.
It's not as good as the first one because of how angry you are.
Yeah.
But Derek Green, the tight. Do you know what's one of the best things about that episode for me is the visuals of the Master System version of Sonic.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Like, I think you're playing Sonic 2.
Yes, I think actually we played both Sonic 1 and 2 on that because they're short games, so it was like, yeah, we've got fucking hours, so we just play through 1 and 2.
And then there's Uberu Warrior of Sadness, and there's a lot of really funny moments that come from that, and the whole Derek Green thing, and I'd say that it gets like an 8.5 for me.
All right. So shall we go with 8 or 9? If you're saying 8.5.
8.
Okay. So let's rank Sonic EXE round 2 and 8. Then we'll have a look at what the chat think, and then I'm going to nip out and make some food for us before we continue. This Jeff the Killer vs. Slenderman does not want to accept my rating. There we go. Okay, neither do any of the fucking Jane the Killer, the Real Story ones. This fucking website, I swear to God. 8 for Sonic EXE round 2. Okay, and that gives you ample opportunity to take over for a moment and talk about Eyeless Jack and the Alley with the audience. While I quickly throw us some food in the oven.
Okie dokie, I'm gonna change seats. Alright, hi, it's me. How you guys doing? Yeah, so, Eyeless Jack and the Alley. I kind of like this episode. I think Dr. Raving Cuckoo makes another appearance in this one. With, I think somebody also did like a CREEPYPASTA animated of it, which was really, really funny, the visuals and everything like that. And the alley, I don't remember much of. I just remember something about an alley and this person being in an alley and there's a bricks.
I'll tell you what I remember about Eyeless Jack. The doctor fucking breaks the news to the guy that his brother's dead, just by being like, we've got good news and bad news.
Sorry, Mitch.
And then it's like, the bad news is your brother's dead.
The bad news is...
And then like, the corpse is just still there with no like police tape or anything. That's the shit I remember from fucking Eyeless Jack.
And the alley was just kind of, punching a brick in an alley, that was it. That was... I would genuinely give this episode like a very high 7, because I really enjoyed this episode, but the alley was just nowhere near as funny. But the commentary from the boys was really solid. But yes, but the majority of the 7 goes towards Eyeless Jack. It's like, someone ate your kidney last night. It's like, who ate the kidney? Was it Edwin? Eyeless Jack? So Eyeless Jack gets a 10 out of 10 because of Dr. Raving Cuckoo. The alley a 5 out of 10 because it was a walkthrough from breaking reality. I'd agree with that. So I would give that like a 7 if that's like a 10 and a 5. So like, so how do you do with one kidney? It's got a lot of quotable lines, doesn't it? So I would say like a very high 7. So, but I'd go as like a sort of overall, what the rate. There we go. Doesn't like me rating.
Did we reach a verdict?
I think for the most part, from what I can see, a lot of people did like it 8s and 9s. I would have given it like a 7.
Okay, 7, cool.
Like a high 7.
Yep, I'm happy with whatever ranking you give it while I'm out the room. 7 seems fair.
It does not want me to...
Yeah, that mouse is shite. I need to get a new one.
Yeah. Okay. So one nitpick. The good news is you have minor injuries. That's not good news. Good news would be your injuries are minor. Small differences. But it infuriates me. Mitch ate the kidney in his sleepwalking. Alright, next episode then, guys. Wait, I think somebody... Peter, thanks for the $4.99. If I had to read Sonic.exe round 2, I think I would start practicing walking on my knuckles because damaged hands are better than a damaged brain. That's true, and thank you. Okay, next episode. Oh. Nope. We're not on Jeff the Killer versus Michael Myers yet. This one. Laughing Jack, right. Controversial episode. This one got a lot of hate for everybody, which I think was completely undeserved. But yes, it says, A controversial episode where the boys make fun of the only creepypasta character who's off limits for slander. Now, like...
I remember that. There was a shitload of backlash in the comments. It's kind of gone now because of the way that the YouTube algorithm works, but I think if you go far back enough, there was a shitload of fucking backlash.
Mm. Yeah.
The one that never let go is the guy who started his comment with, "Oh hell no," and left the O off of no.
I think this one is where you started off with the that you didn't want to read the sort of like parts of the story because it was gross, which I completely am with you with.
Well, I think we had the same problem with Squidward Suicide.
Yes, you did as well.
All this fucking like grim dark shit about kids.
Yeah, that was it.
It's just insensitive.
Really insensitive. But yeah, getting a lot of. Got someone giving it a 1. Got someone giving it a 7, 7, 8, 7, 7, 8, 8, 8. I'm sort of I'm on the fence. I'm like...
It's a 1, so in that person's mind, this episode is like as good as watching the Emoji Movie or
Yeah.
some shit. Like, that's fucking harsh. 1.
And there's like 7-ish episode. The bleakness and grossness of the story kind of brings everyone's energy down. A classic, probably 6 out of 10 because of the visuals. Peter, thanks for the $1.99. Hey Jacob, guess what? I'm cooking now too. So I'm with most of the chat. I think I'd give it a 7. Like I'd give it like a low 7 though, because again, it's not fun when you guys get upset when reading because of like, you know, who would want to read like really really like gross shit? Nobody does. But yeah, I'd go for a 7 because a lot of it was funny, but it was gross. So like, I think I'm gonna go like a 7 or a 6. I'll go 7 because I'll go for 7. All right. They both Laughing Duck stories are a little too gross to be all that funny when making fun of them. 7 out of 10. Yeah. So I think the consensus is quite similar. Like we fed our dog. Yeah, there's some good some good commentary from everyone, and like there were some funny moments that put it above being like an average episode. So yeah, I'm giving it a 7. So we've went with 7 for Laughing Duck.
Okay, cool. Food shouldn't be too long now.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just some easy crap I'm throwing in the oven.
Okie dokie. Next episode.
I think it's incredibly harsh clicking.
There we go.
Clunk.
So, you okay, lady? Jeff the Killer versus Michael Myers. Now this one doesn't have a plot, but neither does the story. Hey!
Nailed it.
Finger guns. But yeah, all I really remember from this one,
I like
whilst...
that you said finger guns because they couldn't see you. Now I was in the other room, but I'm certain you did the finger guns, even though there was no one to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
You didn't just say finger guns to be funny, you actually did them. I just knew it.
Yeah, I did them. Yeah. Basically, yeah, like, there is no story, so all the comedy comes from, like, the guys, and, like, it being, like, Michael Myers is there, so is Jeff, so is Jane, and I think this also had the, I think it was one of the, like, the edit of A Real Hero from Drive, and like Jeff and Jane getting with the rhombus or the parallelogram in the background, which was very funny. But Jeff dies, which, you know, should give it a 10. Consuming the pavement. Yeah. Jeff and Jane do make out, which does bump the story down. So genuinely, I'd probably give this like a high 8 or a 9, guys. The editing was really good in this episode. I think that was Giro that did the editing, as far as I remember. It's a 6 Jeff and Jane began to make out of 10.
So, if everyone's alright, I'd give Jeff the Killer versus Michael Myers a low 8. Because I think there's a lot of funny stuff in that episode, but Jeff and Jane begin to make out, and the fact that all of the jokes are really from, like, all of the funny stuff is from the guys as opposed to the story. Yeah. So, if I eat stone, I can become it. There is a lot of Jeff the Killer versus stories, because people, I'm hoping this is not just something that you are only just realizing, but a lot of creepypasta writers have this thing that they lack. Usually, I think, what's the word? Originality. So, they just go, Jeff the Killer's famous, and then insert slasher movie character here. I'm pretty sure there'll probably be like a Jeff the Killer versus Nancy from fucking Freddy Krueger, like Nightmare on Elm Street. My headcanon is this story takes place right after Halloween Resurrection. Well, you can understand that, like, he'd be, pretty down on his luck after getting beat up by Busta Rhymes. So yeah, I'd agree with that kind of headcanon, Callum. Talent is also a word that I was missing as well. Naked man eating from a dumpster. And brain cells is another good one, Neighbor's Kid. Okay, so he sees you when you're sleeping. Now, this one I don't really know much about, because I don't think I listen to it very often. I think I maybe listened to this twice, and that was a long time ago. Ergo, the fact that this aired on the 25th of December 2014. All I know is that I think it had a guest star in it, and Jacob is wearing a Santa hat in the picture. Was this the birth of Matt's Santa voice?
What's that?
He sees you when you're sleeping.
Yes, because he repeats it in that voice, like, he sees you when you're sleeping.
Yeah.
That's literally the only thing I can remember about this episode, because I'm pretty sure that was the Christmas that Tom and I recorded that video.
Yes.
Of us being like, hey guys, how you doing? The completely ridiculous Christmas message video.
So I can't really give this one a ranking.
How let the audience do it?
But so I'm gonna give this to you guys. So, I'm gonna go with, let's see what else we've got. We get an 8 out of 10. We've got a 7.
Read that super chat that came in, the Matthew Perry one.
Oh, no, not yet. I'll do that now. Sorry, Matthew. Yeah, Matthew Perry, thanks for the 10 Canadian bucks. Hello, folks. Unfortunately, I'm doing manual labour and therefore can't add to the polls. Just wanted to say you guys are awesome and made my day better by giving me something to listen to. Well, you're very welcome, and I hope that the work you're doing is you don't have much left to do, but I really appreciate your patronage. And 6776877. I just had a stroke. 10 out of 10 for Matt's voice, 6 or 7. Okay, so I think this one's already quite fairly rated then on IMDb. It seems to be out of the 6 people that have already rated it, that it's given just a full 7. So I'd go with yeah, I'm gonna go for, considering there's quite a few 6s, I'm gonna go sort of middling and make it a high 6 and put it as a 6. Thank you. Are you everyone right with that? A silly voice only goes so far. Yeah, I agree with you. Next episode.
To me, that episode is the definition of a 5, the one you just had on.
Yeah, I'm going with...
It's like, yeah. But yeah, like I said, I have the audience do it, because I don't remember it too well, but it's just like, the fact I don't remember it is indicative of the fact it's like super average.
It had Shisho with no name in this one. Okay, the truth behind Super Mario.
We had one good joke in this, which was Ukraine is a shithole.
Yeah, I'd
There's
agree.
some good stuff in there. I remember the line about concrete dust. It was like, what is wood? I'm like, is that some new concrete dust we haven't heard of? Or I was filled with questions, and then Brady just being like, what time is it? When, oh when will we eat again?
I also remember that at the very start of this episode, you actually go, there's some jokes in here people might not like.
Yeah, because we knew we like George Lucas. I was just like, I may have gone too far in a few places.
Yeah.
Like we'd gone too far a few times, but it wasn't so far we had to scrap the whole episode. Like Mr. Rossetti.
So we've got a 10, a 7. Oh boy.
Stop drinking these fucking cans of Pepsi. They'll be gone by morning.
An 8, a 10, a 6, a 5. An 8. It's a 5, a 6 or a 5. All the Ukraine jokes were gold. I'd agree. They were funny. 5, you skipped something about an orangutans. Oh, this one was disgusting, and I remember you had to do a lot of skipping. 5 out of 10. Yeah, again, this is an episode I'm not fully familiar with. Sorry, my starter's really bad today. Fully familiar with, but I remember bits of it. So I'm gonna trust you guys and give it like a 6 again. This one's a 6 because like it's a high 6, but with a lot of 5s. Whilst there's a few 7s, a couple of 8s, I would say that it would only be fair to give it like a 6 out of 10. So yeah, we're giving Truth Behind Super Mario a 6.
Do you want to come and sit on the couch then? I've got you some food here, and I'll come in and jump back in the driver's seat.
Cool. I'm just gonna rate this other one, and then you can start on the next one.
I'll pop this on by your chair for you. Yeah, it's like again, this is the 5 out of 10 episode. This is 5 out of 10 food. It's just like easy to make shit I just bought from Asda on the way home.
I'm sure it's lovely. A lot of people are saying release the Rossetti cut.
What's that?
Like, a lot of people are saying release the Rossetti cut.
Alright, so. Okay, 6 went with that. Now, for those of you who have, I forget what it's called, but that sensory thing where you can't stand to hear people eat. Sorry, basically. There's no refunds, so. Can't believe Gemma isn't on the overlay. So Gemma was only joined like when the stream had been going a while. So I wasn't sure if she was going to join us or not, which is why I only put my my guy in there.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a surprise when they hear me.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my god, she's here.
The Queen. It's just Jon Snow.
McQueen.
Do you think someone asked him who his favourite actor from the 1960s is? He's like Steve McQueen. I quite liked this one, the Are Real Monsters one.
I remember something about hating Tom Hanks.
Yeah, this is the one with like my least favourite actor, Tom Hanks. They never bother taking the couch out, and the big payoff at the end is the guy falls and hits his head because they didn't set the couch up because they watched Are Real Monsters instead. And there's also one about little did they know that Grandma was a 7-time cocksucking championship winner.
I think this was what actually made me remember Our Real Monsters as a show. I was like, oh yeah, that was a show that existed.
Yeah, I'm quite keen on this one.
Mm-hmm. I'd give it like a 7.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's funny, this one.
I see 8s, and 7s, and 6.
It's not just that we want Mr. Rossetti, Jacob. Yeah, 5, 6, 7, 7, 6, 5. Yeah, I think we'll go with 7. Like, it's certainly not as bad as this. I mean, 6 isn't bad. 6 is above average. I'm falling into that trap now. But, like, it's, you know, I think it's decent. I think it falls to the category of good, which is where 7 sits. Lady in the Basement and Dog Bite.
10.
This is the season finale, isn't it? This
10.
one. Yeah.
100%. 10.
Like-
10 out of 10.
Yeah, because it's one of the rare ones where both stories are funny. Because almost all double episodes have one really funny story and one kind of not so funny story. This one has the door sex followed by the a dog bit my face off and I had to sit in a waiting room.
It was like pushing it in, pulling it out, cradling the balls.
Yeah. Just Matt shouting, cradling the balls.
Which you then added to a couple of episodes.
Yeah, I forget which ones, but there's some episodes from around this time. Whereas if you stay to like after the end screen, it just cuts to Matt going, cradling the balls.
Also, there was like in Lady in the Basement, for some reason, like David Bowie's junk.
Yeah, because there's one MC Escher. Like, oh, it's like Labyrinth. Just like David Bowie's enormous cock just flopping around. Yeah, it's a 10, isn't it? It's one of the rare 10. We haven't done a lot of 10s. This is one of them though. Okay, time to start season 3, my fellow Americans.
This is my favourite season.
3, I think, has got some good stuff.
3 and 4.
Okay, so Dennis is like the only fucker in the history of the show who's got an IMDb profile picture. Look, Dennis Conway. Yeah, Rayman 4 I think is a really good opener. It's a really strong season opener.
Rayman 4, I was crying.
Yeah, for me, the only criticism I can give, and I really am dick riding myself, I do apologise for not being humble. The only criticism I can give is that it's too long. That's probably it. I like just about everything about it.
I guess a 9. Because I think there's a bit where you are being the incel in the I forgot his name.
Oh yeah, he's the stereotypical game shop owner.
Yes, and then there's a bit where you like there's a bit where Matt goes, he's rubbing his nipples.
Yeah.
It's just... And then for some reason, when Dennis took over, he sounded like the Joker, and that's when the fat Joker thing happened.
Yes, that's the thing with like he comes at me with one of those free bentos pies in a tin.
Yes.
Which I think that line again. I'm sucking my own dick, but that line is fucking underrated. The whole like Joker backstory was like, Daddy doesn't like that. He comes at me with one of those free bentos pies in a tin. Like, I feel like that's a joke that only English people are going to laugh at, which was kind of why it probably isn't fondly remembered.
It's like, do you know how I got this fat?
It's like, Dad, I've been to the gym. Yeah, no, I really like that episode. It's only like that, without it's way too fucking long.
I think it dips in the middle. The first part is gold. Like, then part 2 dips in the middle, and then it brings itself up again at part 3. So, yeah, I'd say a 9.
Yeah, the chat seemed to think a lot of them 8, 9, and 10 for this one. It really, people really remember it fondly, and I like it a lot. 10 out of 10 newspaper Colossus Titan. Yeah, it's just a lot of really funny stuff.
The media giant.
So I don't really remember this one, the Jeff is back one.
This is when Jeff is like, and you, Becky.
Yeah, I remember the thumbnail for this one more than the story, actually. I can picture the thumbnail quite vividly. But yeah, I don't really remember this one.
This one I had a lot of fun with because it's the end. Is like he's like trying to. They're trying to break the fourth wall with the ending. Yeah, Jeff becomes a hacker. And I genuinely think it's about. I think it's a 7 personally for me. Like,
I don't know if it's as good as a 7. I'd say it's maybe in the camp of above average, like decent. I'd probably say 6. Let's see what the audience thinks.
I see a 7, 7, 6, 7, 9, 7 so far.
I like these little pizza baguettes. This is proper like redneck food. I really like it.
Yummy.
It's a proper like mattress in the front garden kind of food. Okay, the crowd are largely siding with you, so we'll go with 7 rather than 6. And so we've reached a point where very few episodes are getting low scores. Like, they're all instant death disease.
I give that an 8.
Yeah, I have trouble really remembering this one. I think this is the one with the recorder version of Darude Sandstorm, though. With like the initial D. I think that comes from this. That's all I really remember. And obviously the fact it's the world's funniest joke from Monty Python, but it's a horror story instead.
Yeah, and a lot of Resident Evil references. Yeah, I give it an 8.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree.
Although the chats, I'm seeing 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 9.
Well, again, guys, if you disagree, you can always go and rate them yourselves. The link is in the description. Alright, let's go back, because I'm not sure if Instant Death Disease ranking worked. Oh, it did, yeah. Okay, Laura. This is one I think turned out quite well.
9.
Yeah, I think this one is very funny. The problem with the story is the story isn't very good, so we have to do a lot of the heavy lifting because it's a very thinly veiled story about about homosexuality.
Yeah.
And it's they wanted to tell a story about coming to terms with the fact they were gay, but they made it a creepypasta about a Dreamcast Guitar Hero game featuring a harp instead of a guitar.
Yep.
Like, just do a story about being gay. Do at least with like Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, it kind of works. This, I don't know, it just is a fucking terrible story.
Also, I like how the person that wrote it took it in good.
Yeah, they're a really good sport about it. A lot of them are. Most of the authors are. Not the guy who wrote Rayman 4.
Oh, no.
No, he was not. He fucking DM'd me. He was not a good sport. He didn't ask me to take it down, though. It's always the rule. The rule remains to this day. Author asks you to take it down, you take it down. Having said that, I like Laura. I'm going to give this one an 8, I think. I think it's very funny. A strong episode, you know.
Indeedio. I'm trying to get that. It's like a...
Binary Step. I don't fucking remember this one.
I remember lockdown being a school. And it was like, get it? School is basically prison.
Yeah, I don't remember it at all.
Yeah, me neither. I think it's like a 5.
Thomas is number 1, absolutely. Thomas is the best episode. Thomas, I think, was one of the only 10s so far.
Oh, and leaving the basement and dog bite gets a 10.
Yeah, this one is... I can't give it a rating because I don't remember it. And my instinct is to go 5 because I don't remember it. But what does the audience think? 6, 9, 5, 8. Yeah. We'll probably end up landing on 5 just because it's so divisive. 7, 4. Yeah, we'll go with 5 then. Because I don't think either of us can remember this story. And the people in the chat can't make their minds up if they like it or not. So yeah, we'll go with 5. This on the other hand, Son is EXE versus Ben Drowned.
An 8.
I can really, with this one, remember the thumbnail again. There's another one where I remember the thumbnail and not the video.
It was like, ha, you shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, there's one where like we realised none of us know what a person from Finland sounds like. So we just did the stereotypical, outrageous French accent for Ben.
Yeah, and then it's like, and then you said something is Finnish.
Yeah.
I give it an 8. Because it's short, sweet, to the point.
Yeah, I don't remember it well enough, to be honest, but I'll have a look in the chat. Most people are saying 8 or 9, so we'll go with 8.
And also there was a multiple ending. Like, it was like, here's the ending if Sonic don't see one, and here's the ending.
It's like Clue, basically.
Yes, it's like a choose your own adventure.
CREEPYPASTA Bandersnatch. Okay, so there's another one where we'll do it all as one, because it's a multi-parter. So let's go back to season 2. Scroll down and make sure that our ratings have saved. No missing ones so far. It's actually worked this time. Oh, because we're on the wrong fucking season. Oh, that's the noise I make when I'm thinking. You know, it doesn't happen very often.
I was like, this is my mother whose maiden name is choked on a pretzel.
Okay, so we're at Clockwork now, and we're gonna rank them all as one.
Right, Clockwork for me, it has not aged well.
I have issues with Clockwork in the sense that I don't think it's aged poorly. I think we were justified in the anger.
Oh yeah, you were justified in the anger. It's just it's difficult to listen to you guys getting so angry.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not fun, and this is, for all intents and purposes, a comedy show.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not funny when we're in because it was one of those ones like with Abandoned by Disney where we got hundreds of requests for it, and this was kind of made in the heyday of the popularity of creepypasta stuff. So we were getting emails and shit like every day saying you have to react to Clockwork. So we were like, okay, cool, and we went in with high expectations that it would be funny, and it was a fucking slog. It was miserable to read,
and that hampers it.
Yeah, so I can't in good conscience give this a high rating as a whole. I'd say, like, it's
a 6 for me.
There's some, I think Clockwork, is it Clockwork or Dating Game that has the Who's That Pokemon? Because I thought that was kind of fun.
I don't know. I think it's Dating Game.
Yeah, I want to say for this one it's like a 4, maybe 5. Like average, not average for our show, but like average in terms of just a YouTube video. Like I think it's fine. It's not good. I probably would skip it, so maybe 4.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'd go average, but again, it's like a lot of average episodes I maybe watch again.
Yeah, I'd say the whole thing, like if we were to rank them as individuals, they'd be like a 6 or 7, and then the ending drags it down because of how fucking disgusting it gets. So I think we'll settle the whole thing on a 5.
Yeah.
So it fluctuates between like a 7 and a 3. So I think we'll give the whole thing 5. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Next up is One Stormy Night and The Stone Pentagram.
Right, I'm not rating this episode.
Because this is your first appearance. I don't really remember it aside from this is this is pretty much how we met. Because Gemma, if you don't know, is an ex-patron of the show. It's a typical romantic story, you know. We met as most couples meet, with a horrible, gross imbalance of power. Where Gemma was paying $25. Really, she was taking advantage of me. Gemma was paying $25 to appear on the show, and we ended up hitting it off. But yeah, you should probably cancel that Patreon any day now, Gemma.
I'm not gonna lie, I was still paying it until about the March.
Yeah, we've been dating for nearly a month, and I was just like, you should cancel that, because otherwise, I'm not your boyfriend. I'm a sex worker.
I know. I didn't notice for a while.
Yeah.
And I was just like, shit, I'm still paying.
This one I think is fine. I think it's got some funny moments. I think especially like not the Terraria one, but the other story. There's like talking about lizard monsters in a tower and all this stuff. I think it's fine. It's like a 5, maybe a 6 if I'm feeling generous. Like.
Well, there's from. It's kind of nice to see that people have given 9s, 8s, a 6, a 7, a 9. Got a 9.
Yeah, I'll go with 6 then. I think I'm feeling generous.
Although someone was like 6 because of Gemma's simping. Hey! There is no simping going on in that video.
Simping, are you?
I think I own Toby like twice in that video.
Yeah, I mean it's not challenging, is it?
True, but
I mean, certain people have owned Toby since he was sold into slavery once.
Jacob was a sugar baby. No.
So, this one, Dating Game. Again, we'll do this as a whole. We'll do all 3 parts. I like this one, even though I think the story is just as bad as Clockwork. I think the episode turned out better than Clockwork.
I agree with you because whilst the final part.
Oh, none of those fucking ratings counted. Thanks, IMDb. Really, just fucking stellar.
-1 out of 10 introduced a femoid to the cast. All right.
What did we even give Clockwork? 5, wasn't it?
5, yeah.
Yeah.
I see you, Uncle Palpy. -1 out of 10. Thanks.
The dating game. I think it's a fun one. I like the stuff about the Burger King. I remember all the stuff about the ridiculous hyperbole of the guy, who wrote it, the main character. The way he's just like, oh, being single and 31 it's just like being schizophrenic. Yeah, it's not a masterpiece by any means, but I would say it's above average. I'd even push it to the realm of good.
I give it an 8. It loses a point for part 3 because it starts off with, or at least, or part 2 ends with you just going, fuck you.
Yeah, I see. For me, I don't know if it's an 8. I'd say 7. 7's still good, but it's
I'm going 8 personally. It's a low 8, but it's still an 8. It's like an 8.2.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's ask the chat then. Shall we give it a 7 or an 8? You decide. Bum 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 bum. That's the jingle.
It also has that bit from Family Guy where it's like, would you like an apple pie with the being fries are done, being fries are done.
Does it?
It does have that bit in it. I think from the editor.
Yeah, the fucking trauma of watching your friends get married.
Yeah.
So, the results, are they in? I don't even know.
See an 8, an 8, a 10, a 7.
10, 7, 8,
8.
8.
8.
It's looking like it's probably going to be 8. 7. 7.
7.
8. Yeah. All right, we'll go with 8 then.
Yeah, there's a couple more 8s just came
Yeah,
out, so.
well, that seems to be the consensus, so we'll go with 8. It's a 7 for me and 8 for Gemma, so we'll go with the audience, which is agreeing with Gemma. And another episode I don't remember. Sackboy.exe and Give Me... Oh, I do remember Give Me the Butter. That's one with the Pumpkin Man.
Yeah, but you're not in that one.
The Pumpkin Man story is fucking hilarious. I don't remember Sackboy.exe at all, but Give Me the Butter is like a straight up 9. But I don't remember Sackboy.exe.
I'm a 6.5.
Boyga King.
It gets a 6 for the Give Me the Butter story.
Yeah. For me, like, Give Me the Butter is like a 9, but I don't fucking remember what Sackboy.exe is. So that may as well be a 1 because I don't remember it at all.
Yeah, I go 6. I agree with a couple people in the chat with a 6. There's a 7 and an 8.
Yeah, let's give it a 6 then, because like we can't give it average because the Give Me the Butter story is genuinely hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So it's above average, but there's an entire story on there that nobody can fucking think of anything from. So we'll go with 6. The Day the Music Killed.
That was with Todd.
Yes. I think this one's fine. I don't remember much about it. I think this is like a 5 out of 10, this one.
Yeah. Yeah, 5.5.
Yeah, let's go with 5 and then move on. Yeah, we got a lot of... It's like we were getting really in-depth. We've got a few of these to get through, guys. So, we'll see how... Fucking... Oh, that didn't count. Like, we'll see how... Okay, right. Mario 2.
I mean...
This is the one with the Toad Empire.
The Empire!
Also the infamous denim joke.
Oh, yes.
Which someone in the chat didn't get and, like, had it explained to them a number of times in the comments. And they just didn't get it. And I was like, oh, come on, dude. I felt like, you know that scene, I think it's Carlos Mencina, is that the guy? Who's, like, badly beaten trying to explain the fish sticks joke to Kanye West. It's like, just get it, man. Why don't you get it?
I'm kind of with a lot of the chat with this one, and I think that Mario 2 gets a 10 out of 10 for me.
It doesn't get a 10 from me. And the only reason it doesn't get a 10, because I think it's a good episode, the editing is fucking shoddy. There was an error with the edit, which resulted in one screen that's meant to play for like a few seconds being the entire video.
Yeah, but that makes it funny.
It does, but like all the comments are missing and everything. So just the general shoddiness and lack of of production value knocks it down 1 point to make it a 9. But the actual story and commentary is a 10. So I'm giving it a 9.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that's... Is that all of season 3 now? Is that the season 3 finale?
Unsure. Possibly yes. I think yes, because funnily enough, I think I just met you when that episode
Yeah,
came out.
that's the season 3 finale. Okay, so we're about to move on. Let's see how season 3 stacks up. Gemma said it was her favourite season. We ended up with 9, 7, 8, 8, 5, 8, 5, 6, 8, 8. Oh, sorry, 8, 6, 5, 9. So it's an interesting mixed bag, season 3.
I think there's whilst I say like I say 3 and 4 are my favorites. But I was 3, at least the first 3/4 of that season I really enjoy when and it's one that I go back to a lot if I'm re-listening.
Release the Mario 2 editor's cut. So here we are. Fuck me, right? How Jeff Killed Christmas.
10.
I can't give it a 10. It's so harsh. It's so unnecessarily mean.
10.
There's never a moment where Toby isn't just the description here. Look, Toby doesn't like poetry apparently. So we go, fuck you, cunt, kill yourself every 5 minutes.
It gets a 10 for Dick Tower of Babylon.
Okay, so Gemma's very much adamant this is a 10. For me, I'd say this is an 8. So we could say 9, so it's in between ours.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just do that and then see what the chat thinks. Yeah, we'll say 9. We're getting into that golden age now where I don't know, the show just had these fucking great episodes coming out. Because there's been some crap. I was looking at this and going, man, our show isn't really very good, is it? But it's because there's been some right shit. A lot of 10s. A couple of 7s, but a lot of 10s. $11 out of 10. Okay, let's move on.
Grab your sporks, boys.
It's big old sporks. It does have some big old sporks. Abandoned by Disney. There's some good stuff in there. It is effectively is one running joke, which is because again, this one, this one was done as you know as a sort of gag. It was requested, like with Clockwork, it was requested a million fucking times. But unlike Clockwork, it's actually decent. It's a good story. It's a 6 out of 10 story. It's pretty solid. So it was okay, what do we do with this? And then the joke just became just fucking rip on anything we can find. Hey, he said a word funny, let's go. Because of that, I think the episode suffers. I think there are some good jokes. I do remember the Viking horde with the Mickey Mouse hats. The whole thing of they razed the town to the ground. And I was wait, they razed it? They fucking burned it down. So that stuff I thought was fun. But ultimately, the story's quite good, and the episode suffered because of that.
I agree with you. And also you subjected everyone to pregnant Luigi with a foxtail ears.
Yes, I did.
And I'm not gonna lie, that was not good. And it started a lot of drama for no reason.
Yeah, things I handled shit poorly, and nobody involved handled it well. It was not a good thing. But that's not relevant to whether the episode was good or not. And I think,
but I give it a 6.
Yeah, it's a 6 for me too. It's not a great episode.
It does.
It's a weak beginning after How Jeff Killed Christmas. It's a massive fucking step down. Like in terms of production quality, like I think the audio sounds quite good, and there's lots of flashy pictures and some really good jokes in the first half. But it ultimately is not a great thing. So yeah, I'm gonna give that the same rating I would give the story.
Although it had funny Neg Mouse at the end.
Yeah, Neg Mouse stuff, and again the Mickey Mouse putting people to the sword.
Right.
I don't remember How I Met a Terrible Fate. People seem to like it. Oh yeah, it's got an 8 overall. I don't remember that one.
I really like How I Met a Terrible Fate. I thought it was really funny. I think that they're trying to start World War II in a Pilot Wings game.
Oh, is this the one with the empty? He buys an empty box for a Nintendo 64.
Yeah, it is the Nintendo 64.
Yeah, I had to make sure I bought the empty fucking box.
And then there was Darb. Who's Darb?
Yeah.
And then Toby's dad's computer didn't work. And he had, and he had like
this whole rant about like, oh, we're on
Bing.
Internet Explorer, the default browser is Bing. I was like, what is fucking sane about this?
I'd go with like, I'd say that episode's an 8 for me.
All right, cool. Let's give it an 8 then. I don't remember it well enough to give it a ranking, so I'll go with yours.
There was a lot of funny stuff, and also there was there's a bit where he's on Babom. Like,
This is the season with all the multi-parters, isn't it? Season 4. Jason the Toy Maker. So this did give us the Nelson Mandela voice.
Yep.
Which ended up becoming the Laughing Jack voice, but it started here with Jason the Toy Maker. I think it was Nelson Mandela. Is this the episode where we just fucking lose it about Nelson Mandela and baked beans?
You also talk about the Bear Village.
Is this the salmon fortune?
Yes.
This is bordering on a fucking 10 for me.
I'd give it a 9 because
Yeah.
it dips in the middle a little
It's
bit.
a bit long, isn't it?
And it's very
But
long.
there's all the stuff with like, we're gonna get that He-Man.
Yes.
Just the whole fucking business with baked bean themed chemo, Dr. Eggsmond.
Yeah.
That shit is funny. Like, I don't care that nobody except me and fucking Matt understood it.
I love it. Heir to the 7.
Yeah, that's a 9. Fuck it.
That's a 9 for. We have to get that He-Man.
All right. What is the
Consensus is mostly 9s.
what does the Crisoud think? That's what I say. That's how I say crowd. It sounds cooler.
That was from the first one. 8 or 9, 9, 9, 7, 9, 9, 9, 7, 9, 9, 8, 9, 4, 6, 7, 10 for Nelson Mandela, and 3 for the story itself. 7, yeah.
Thank you, Peter, for the $9.99. I agree with Matt on the point that the protagonist of Abandoned by Disney should have left when he saw a snake bigger than Titan Boa. That's the biggest snake in the fossil record at 60 feet long. Yeah, it was a funny moment where we just were completely fucking ignorant about snakes, and we're like, is that a big snake? I don't know. Which, yeah, in retrospect, it's just us not knowing what we were talking about. Okay, so the next one is... So Jeff the Killer 2015, as best as I recall, has 2 jokes, really. It's one, it's really and it feels accidental. It's not like Laura, where Laura is obviously intentionally homoerotic. I feel like Jeff the Killer 2015 is accidentally homoerotic, which is significantly funnier. And it's also, we just decide that it's Game of Thrones at one point out of boredom.
Because I see Joffrey the Killer, and then it went on.
It just kind of, yeah. It's an early one for Gemma as well. It's her first time officially as part of the crew rather than a patron. I like it fine. It goes on too long. But...
It's long. I remember, because that was actually the first day I met Matt that day. That was my first time meeting
Imagine
Matt.
That's fucking intense. First time you meet a person, you're going to do like fucking 4 hours of recording.
Yeah. Because I met Toby at this point, and obviously I'd been with Jacob a couple of months at this point, and then like, and then I hadn't met Matt yet. It was like 8, 7, 8, 7, 5, 7, 7, 9.
Yeah, it's a mixed bag for people.
I would say I would give it a 7. Like overall.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I'd say some bits are probably worth an 8, others are worth a 7, but we'll give the whole thing a 7.
There was Go to Nando's at the end as well.
But yeah, it's the homoerotic stuff I remember.
And then it was me as the mum who kept bursting into tears whenever she was trying to shout at her children.
The next episode, we'll stay on this. We'll stay on the scrolling because there's so many multi-parts on this one. Is Hobo Heart and My Name Is MCCP. Is this one with Fuck Off and Die Twilight Sparkle?
Drown in a sea of shit, you fucking failure.
I mean, well, that's just a 10. Yeah, this one for me, it's a good one. I like it. I'm very pleased with how it turned out. It's like an 8 or 9 for me. I'm gonna be generous. I'm gonna be nice to myself and give it a 9. And now comes Pokemon Dead Channel, which has one fucking joke stretched over 4 episodes, which is, wouldn't it be funny if on TV gay people acted the same as straight people, which descends into, hey, I banged your dad, which descends into us all picking on Toby because he's Toby. So it's like, hey, I'm a bit tired. Yeah, it's how your dad reacted after taking my enormous cock. It very quickly became a stupid run-on joke about having sex with each other's fathers. Now let's not beat around the bush. Having sex with your friend's dad is funny. That's a funny concept. But it's not enough to hang a 4-part show on.
Yeah, I haven't listened to it very often.
No. Yeah, I don't know. It seems to have a high rating on IMDb, but it's not an episode I'm particularly proud of. I think it's fine.
I think it's a 7.
Yeah, a lot of votes for 10 in the chat, but yeah, I'm gonna say 7 for me. But again, guys, if you disagree, you can hop into IMDb and give it your own rating. If you want to give something a 1 and be a cunt, if you want to give something a 10 and be like unreasonably pleasant. I'm going to find out if there's a way we can look at every single episode in terms of our ranking of them and see which ones we rated the highest. That's kind of the point of doing this.
Some English bloke, thanks for the fiver. Rewatched Dead Channel when stuck in Euston Station once. Good times.
Okay.
Nice.
Digimon the Lost Movie. This one's got a very high rating. Digimon the Lost Movie and Mijawa Carnage Complex Project.
The reason why that has got a high rating is because of card games and digestives.
Pretty iconic moments,
yes,
to be honest.
Which is something that I sing.
Oreo, the forbidden one.
Also, this has I took out my chance.
I'm always happy when I can quote the episode, because we've made so many, and if I myself can think back to a moment in the episode and recite it like that, I know that I'm proud of the episode. So just for that, it's a high ranking one. It's an 8 for me, maybe 9. I'm gonna go with 8. I think. Gemma.
I'm gonna go with an 8, a high 8 at least, like a high 8, low 9.
Yeah.
I had lots of fun recording this episode, and I think I also was taking pictures of you guys' reactions to this episode.
Yeah.
So there's like there's a picture of you, a picture of Toby, and a picture of Matt.
So the Haunting Melody, which I think is the one with the spider condos.
Spider condos. It's a 7. It's like. You know, it's short, it's sweet, and it's really amusing, and it's obviously written by a child.
Lost to Eternity. Yeah, it's a fun little episode, but it's largely forgettable. I'd say it's a 6 or 7.
Yeah, I'd go with a 6 or 7.
Let's go with 6. We're being very generous at the moment. Let's be a little bit humble. I'll give that a 6. Yeah. Again, 6 is good. 6 is above average. Nina the Killer.
Ooh.
I don't fucking remember this one at all. It's 4 parts long. Jesus Christ. Let's click on it and see if.
I'm pretty sure Nina the Killer had Dennis.
Yeah, it does.
I wasn't part of this one. I think I was working.
Yeah. This is an all male episode, which naturally bumps it up 1 point.
I'll be back. I'm just going to the bathroom.
Okay. We'll see what the chat thinks. I'll be honest with you.
I've got nothing to say.
I have
about
no
this
real memory of the Nina the Killer episodes, to be honest. This one had incest. I don't remember that. I do know that Silent Sonia has incest. Yeah, so definitely so it had bad Google Translate and the gender swapping. So 10, 9, 10, 5, 8, 9, 7, 7. So I'm thinking maybe 7 or 8 for this one, just based on you guys' reactions. Yeah, we'll go with 8. That seems to be the consensus in the chat. Okay, Zelda's death, I'm pretty sure, is the one with the ranting about Ganondorf changing the management of a milk farm, which was a conversation I'd had before with, not just with Matt, I'd brought this up to a few people, but it was something that had always wound me up. And I'd forgotten about it until Matt kind of brought it back to my attention in this episode. And yeah, I was very, very pleased with that rant, but I'm not sure I remember much about the rest of the episode.
What's the consensus?
I think we went with 8.
Cool.
Because people really like it. So Zelda's death one at the moment.
Is that the one where the guy couldn't finish the game?
Oh God, it might be. Yeah, the guy's like, I always wanted to beat Ocarina of Time, but I never found the Kakiri sword.
That was, I think that might have been it. And so Ganondorf, the king of evil.
Okay, 7, 9, 9, 7, 8, 9, 6. I think 7 seems to be about the consensus for this one.
Also, Matt's stuff about the milk farm.
Yeah, we talked about that one. So this one is the Christmas special. I don't remember this one.
Me neither. Were we drunk for 2016 and 2017?
I imagine so. You're not in this one either. I think this might be the episode where we bring up Sooty Pete. And it's got a story about evil Santa. For me, this is a 5. I'm just like, it's fine. Like, I don't remember anything about it being particularly bad or, like, not worth listening to. But I don't remember ever feeling like this was a good episode. So I think we'll just go with average. Here's another one I don't remember, but I remember the thumbnail. It seems to be a recurring problem. Sonic Faded Colors and Paper Mario Cursed Star. It is making me think of Paper Mario Sticker Star, which makes me want to rank it low. Oh, apparently the Christmas special is the one with like some Christmas carols in it, and you get another rant about stories not being people, and something about electric kettles as well. So people seem to remember it fondly, but it's really just blank. It's a void for me. So yeah, how do we feel about Sonic Faded Colors and Mario Cursed Stars? Yeah, it just means nothing to me, this one.
I see 4 or 5. 5, 5, 4.
Okay, let's go with 5 then. Again, average. It can wallow in mediocrity with some of the early episodes from season 1.
What's been the lowest you've given an episode so far?
I think 3 maybe?
And which one was that one?
I fucking don't remember. We'll go through it at the end. What's the fucking point in ranking them, I swear to God? I think it's just because my shit internet. It's just like, come on. Like Zelda's death, what did we even give that? I don't remember.
I think you gave it a 7.
7, okay. special 5, maybe 6 actually. I think it was like somewhat good 5. Okay, We Are Twisted. Right, I'm not gonna fucking click on them. I think it's easier if I stay on this page. Okay, if I have to click on to see who was in them, maybe, because you can get the cast if you click on them, or I could open in a new tab maybe.
We Are Twisted, I think, is...
It's Creep's work, right?
Yeah, I think it's Creep's work.
Yeah, I'm always when I'm in them, and I'm always at the end of the cast. And I don't know why, it's annoying. I'm always credited last.
Because your last name begins with an S.
Oh, is it alphabetical?
Yeah. There's like Matt Dixon,
Oh,
Toby
yeah,
Mitchell.
yeah.
It goes last name.
We Are. I don't fucking remember this one. And it's like, oh, I was working at. Is this the one where the guy's working at Sega, and like he goes from being an intern to like character design? Is that this one?
Don't ask me. I've got no fucking idea what this one's about. This was when I was working like a lot.
Yeah.
So I was not in a lot of these.
6, 8, 6, 6. Most people are saying 6, so we'll go with the consensus because neither of us can really remember this one. Hey, there's another one I can't remember. Man, fuck season 4. There's another one I can't remember. Yu-chan.
Wasn't Yu-chan with the... But no, the French one was the... That Me Was Me,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
That's in like season 5 or 6.
Oh, no.
Okay, well, this is just the OG guys.
Yes,
this
I've
one,
got no
Yu-chan.
clue what
I
Yu-chan's all
fucking
about.
don't know what this is. Okay, yeah, Yu-chan. I don't remember this one. Just waiting for the chat to give their thoughts on Yu-chan.
I've seen
The name means fucking nothing to me.
Was it... Oh, Birdman Dan says, was Yu-chan the one about horrible snuff videos?
Possibly. I think that's the one where, like, at the beginning, they liken videos like Two Girls, One Cup to murder videos. Like, they're not the same. Watching consenting adults eat poop is gross, but it's not like watching someone be murdered.
Yu-chan was one with the most repulsive gore in it.
Yeah.
And then the one where the protagonist's mother got into an epic rap battle. Yu-chan had a really awful protagonist who browsed gore sites.
I think this one was like kind of below average. We'll say 4. Like just below average. Not horrendous by any means, but like not good either. So Silent Sonia, 3-part end to the season. This one, I think the show gets back on its feet here because we had some really good stuff at the beginning of season 4, and then it falls apart, and then I think it starts picking back up for the fun, the last hurrah.
Oh, Silent Sonia was with the
like Zimbabwean warlord and the incest,
Yes.
and then Slender Man shows up at the end.
Yeah, I'd give Silent Sonia like an 8.
Yeah, I might even go higher. I might even go 9. Thank you, Peter, for the $4.99. One thing I remember about Yu-chan is that we figured out how to stop Toby from freaking out. Just bring Scarlett in the room. 8, 8, 10, 9, 9. Yeah, it's a 9 for me, Silent Sonia. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, I say high 8, but yeah. Because I think it's too long.
See, I think it goes on just long enough, Silent Sonia. But not just long enough in the sense that it's a 10. I think you're right, it is a bit too long. Like, it could have done with maybe losing 10 to 15 minutes. But, yeah, I call it a 9. And that's fucking season 4. So season 4 is a bit of a mixed bag. 9, 6, 8, 8. Sorry, we'll do them in as because there's a lot of multi-parters. 9, 6, 8, 9, 7, 9, 7, 8, 6, 8, 7, 6, 5, 6, 4, 9. So yeah, it dips sort of 3/4 of the way through. And now for, I think, season 5. The season fucking no one remembers.
Season 5 is also the longest season.
Season 5 just never stops. Okay.
It goes from 2017 to 2019. Season 5.
SpongeBob, Hope is Lost. This is the one with slowly in it. And the Patrick Star being crucified. And how he's Christ. And there was this whole discussion about the similarities and differences between Jesus of Nazareth and Patrick Star.
I think SpongeBob Hope is Lost is a fantastic start to this season. I think it's a decent 8 out of 10. I think that obviously the one joke with it being slowly,
Yeah.
but also it has lately I have been a giant Mexican hat.
Yes. Yeah. Oh God, Toby's so fucking stupid. So there's a moment where Toby's just like, yeah, sometimes I'm quite sombra, and we're just like, boy.
Sombrero. Sometimes I'm a giant Mexican hat.
I know often like Matt will just say like mispronounce a word, like when it says incredulity instead of incredulity, and no one bats an eyelid. And then Toby fucking breathes. It was just like the guys with the hats in VeggieTales like, allow us to introduce ourselves.
A lot of people are giving it 8s and 9s and a few 10s.
I really like SpongeBob Hope is Lost. I think it outstays its welcome. And there's only really 2 good jokes. Well, it's 3 good jokes because there's the slowly thing, the Patrick Star Jesus thing, and the intern. And also, yeah, there's also the intern like being like a cum dumpster.
Yes.
But it stops being a 10 because it's too long, and it stops being a 9 because some of the jokes are a little repetitious. We use the same jokes a lot. Next up is Jeff the Killer versus the Rake.
I have no recollection of this one.
This one I think has the most like we described the it's on Ember Coral. This was the season of lots and lots of Patreon episodes. I think season 5.
Yeah.
So we had tons of guests who are patrons, but Jeff the Killer versus the Rake is on with the absolute fucking beta protagonist who like won't lift a finger to save his wife from being murdered by Jeff the Killer. And he has a gun called Pacemaker, and I swear it's supposed to be Peacemaker, but in every single instance it's written as Pacemaker. And just I think this one's another 8, to be honest. You know, I just said that 5 is garbage, but like first 2 episodes, and they're straight 8s for me. Okay, YouTube watching and tired yet. So this is an interesting one because the jokes are mostly quite good in this one. However, because we had a guest who wasn't speaking his first language, he pre-wrote his jokes. So they were good jokes, but he wasn't able to bounce off of us because he was saying the jokes he prepared for certain points. And that's a perfectly valid way of doing the episode. However, it doesn't really vibe off of the way we do it. So I think that meant that kind of stopped it from being really funny. Because he's a funny guy, and I think there was just some issues with the 2 different styles of comedy. Didn't really blend. Having said that, I would say it's above a 5. Like, it's better than average. There are some... Just for that me was me. Or the 2 guys who fucked on my couch.
Yes.
Just those moments alone push it to a 6, maybe even a 7. It's like a low 7 for me, like a 6.8.
So maybe you should pre-write Toby's jokes too.
Oh, fucking get dunked on, Toby. Like, that's just... Toby's like a skinny Rich Evans who can't do carpentry.
I'm going to go with a 7. Personally.
Yeah, it's a 7 for me. Contains Frenchman 0. Alright, now I've got to open one in another window because here's one I don't fucking remember. Whistle.
I don't remember this one either. I think this
another
is...
Patreon one. Look at Josiah Maharaz. This is another Patreon episode. I think this is the astral projection one. I think.
I have nothing to say about it.
Yeah, I don't really remember. We're probably just going to hit something like 5 for this one, because if the chat can remember it, great. But fuck if I really remember this one.
5.
Yeah, I think we'll just
4.
hit 5. It's people don't seem to remember it. So, in fact, possibly 4 because 5 suggests average, whereas 4 would be subpar. And if none of us can remember it, subpar is probably appropriate. So yeah, we'll go with we'll rate that one as 4, which is for me subpar. The Baby Alive doll. Okay, I don't remember this one really. Again, it's a season of Patreon videos. Absolutely. One thing I do remember is this is the episode with Tenchu. It's like, Papa, Tenchu. We're like, ah, yes, his father was a Japanese assassin.
I think I enjoyed listening to this episode when you released it, because I think I was listening to you edit it.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
So this one's a bit of a mix. 5, 8, 8. Already for Baby Alive doll. I remember liking this one. It's at least a 5 for me. Maybe 6 or 7.
I'd go 6.
Yeah, it's definitely like 6 plus. Like, there's no way it's lower than 6. Some people are saying 8. Some people are saying 6. Some people are saying 7. It's a bit of a mixed bag. 8, 7, 6. I'm probably going to go with 6, I think, for Baby Alive doll. I still loved it for what it was. Ronald McDonald House, boyos. Oh, we're back. The boys are back in town.
This is me, you, and Toby.
Yes. Oh, another look. There's actually a description for this. But these are so helpful, guys. Those of you who are using IMDb, I've noticed a few episodes, especially in season 1, have got descriptions. They're so fucking helpful for things like this. Please do more. Jacob and Toby get annoyed at Gemma constantly making puns, and we hear the origin of the Reimlich maneuver. Genuinely, top 10 jokes I've ever come up with.
Yeah.
The food, health, and safety themed rap artist called The Joke.
I'm giving myself at least an 8 out of 10 for my fire puns in that episode.
Yeah. I think, like with all of multi-parters, its length stops it being a 10. So, yeah, it could be a 9 for me, actually, this one. It's a strong episode.
I'd go high 8, personally, for me. Because I think part 1's better than part 2.
Okay, well, here's one...
Well, we've got not Matt 42, no Matt 0. Well, he's not Matt, so it's definitely no bias.
Takes place in Detroit, 0 out of 10. So here's one I hope we can all agree on was pretty magical. The origin of Laughing Jack.
I was so annoyed you guys did this episode because I was at work.
So this is, for me, it borders on great several times. What stops it from being a 10 is, I think, there is a level of pedantry and nitpicking that we're very guilty of in this episode, where we just won't let it go about the constant historical inaccuracies.
It had London Harbour in it.
Yeah, but sometimes the constant making fun of the historical inaccuracies works, and we're like, haha, that's really funny. And other times it's like, oh, guys, just get on with the story. So I think, for me, it's another 9. I'd say Origin of Laughing Jack is a 9 for me.
I'd go 8.
Okay, I'm going to say 9. You want to say 8. What does the chat think?
9,
9,
10.
8, 10, 5. 8, 10, 9. He said Tengu. Yeah, I mean, it's like I say, it's a 10. Yeah, it's a 9 for. We'll go with 9. Yeah, it's a 9 for me. I think it's a strong one. Teletubbies, the truth. Fuck. Yes, there's Australian guy in this one with us.
I don't remember this one. I just remember it got age restricted or something.
Yeah, it was they got a copyright thing. Not on the original. there was no issue with the original version, but there was with I wonder if that's the right Nathan Klein. But there was with when we uploaded it as the season 5 big video. So I had to like fight, but they released a copyright claim when they were like, yeah, this is unreasonable. That's got to be him because he's only got 1 credit, but he's got a picture of himself. He actually kind of looks like Nathaniel Francis, like a white version. Telling you the truth, I think it's quite good. It's like bare minimum 6. Like it's not. It's above average. 6 or 7 for me. It is funny. The stuff, the Alex Jones stuff with the tubby custard, I like.
Sorry, I don't know what that noise was.
Well, they're putting chemicals in the tubby custard. Like, I think that's some good stuff. I want to say 7. I think it's. What do you think? Do you not really remember that one?
I have no recollection of it.
Okay, we'll say 7 then. We'll go since Gemma doesn't remember this one.
I don't know what noise I just made, but
It was you laughing while trying to inhale, I think.
yeah, but it sounded really creepy.
So, next up is the Inugami.
Oh, I like this one. I enjoyed reading this one.
Oh, the Inugami.
This was another JC project.
Yeah. All I remember is it's set in a place called the Kyuki Mansion.
Yes.
And the thing I remember so vividly about it was right near the beginning is no one who entered ever came out. And if they did, and I was just like, but they didn't. It was full of that weird JC grammar where he'd mean something literally. He'd be like, I slipped and practically fell.
Yes, that was it.
I'm like, and then I picked myself up on the floor. I'm like, so you fell? Then.
Sorry, it's just Gemma was a shrewd crow of a woman. And then indescribable delighted squeak. Gemma 2022.
Yeah. Okay, so Inugami, what do you think? 7?
A lot of people say 7. It's quite. I'd go with 7 as well.
Cool. Okay, so one of the worst episodes, the Christmas Krampus. At least for me. Again, I don't want to influence anybody, but I think this is like bottom 10 episodes of the show. I'm amazed. 7.6, 8.0. This for me is some of the worst fucking shit we ever did.
Really? I don't really remember much about it. I just remember you bringing in Logan when he came in from school.
It was just so fucking boring.
I'd at least give it like a 5.
For me, it's subpar. It's beneath a 5. It's a 4 for me. Let's see what the crowd wants since we can't agree. But it's a 4 for me, this one. Yeah, 5, 5, 5, 4, 5, 6. Forgettable. Yeah, most people want to go 5. I think it's a 4, maybe even 3. 6, 4, but we'll go with 5. I remember kind of liking this one, meeting Ben Drown's sister.
I enjoyed that one.
Something like, I'll give you some beer if you kill Ben.
Yes. I think this is me, Matt, and you.
Yes, there's a minimum of 6. It's at least a 6, because it's above average. It is funny. There's some good jokes in there.
I'd go 7.
Yeah,
low 7.
I think I agree with you. Let's go with a 7 for that one. Fuck if I remember Roblox medley.
Oh, I listened to that one recently actually when I couldn't sleep. I was like listening to a few, and I remember starting at Roblox medley because I was like, what the hell happens in this one? And it's there was. I did not know anything about Roblox, so like talking about it, I was like trying to figure out what the hell was going on, and then me and Matt got into a conversation about SCPs, which was fun.
Yeah. What do you think? 6?
I'll see what the
5, 6.
I'd go with the chat personally for
Okay,
this one.
because neither of us can really remember.
I just remember
7, 7, 7, 5, 3, 7. Okay, we'll go 7 then.
Yeah.
Okay, here's one I like. HD Death.
I loved HD Death, but I was so angry during it.
there's some really fucking funny stuff in there. I remember the guy not understanding what the digital switchover was, despite making it part of the main plot.
Yes.
Which is fucking weird. Apparently there's no one in this episode. Look. No cast or anything. Nobody worked on this episode.
It's me, you, and Matt.
But yeah, I liked HD Death a lot. This is definitely a 6+, 7+, 8 even.
I'd go low 8.
Yeah, it's funny.
And then the ending was like, I guess HD is
too much. It's too real for that, and that's again that pushes it right into that high 8, like approaching 9 for me. I'm gonna go with 8. I think seems to be a consensus.
Yeah, the one where the author didn't take the good pun route, as Cornwall says. Because we were like,
high definition. Yeah, man, 5's better than I remember. Actually, I went into 5 to ranking 5. Like, oh man, fuck season 5. What a garbage 5. There's actually some better stuff in here than I remember. I don't remember Shadow of Blood. Let me open that up.
Oh, you don't remember Shadow of Blood? Do you not remember my Don't Love, Don't Rape?
Oh god, I remember you doing that, but I wasn't sure what video that was for.
Also, me and Matt get into an argument about Azula, and then there's Toby doing his Japanese voice.
Right,
I had fun doing.
What would you give Shadow of Blood?
I'd give Shadow of Blood at least a high 7.
Okay, let's see what the chat think. I don't fucking remember it, so I'm gonna have to trust you guys. 6, 9,
Albino Sword
8,
Boy.
7, 9. It's a popular episode. People seem to really like it. 9, 7. Get lots of 9s and 7s, so probably even it out at 8.
Yeah. I'd like high 7 low 8.
I might listen to it.
It's fun.
Like, I don't like narcissistically listen to our show very often, but like people seem to really like it and I don't remember it, so it might be worth my time.
So who's his father? Fire Lord Ozai. Yeah, Kenzie, it's that one.
You were born ... to die.
Right, this one.
Don't fucking remember this one either.
This is me, you, and Toby doing this one. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
This one.
Was I going through one of my I'm always drunk phases during late season 5? Because I don't remember any of this.
No, you were going through your I can't hear a damn thing phases.
Oh god, yeah. This is when like I was like deaf and I had to get my ears done.
Yeah, this was one where it actually was a pretty decent story. It had it was just boring. It was like there was actually some really good tense scene in it where this guy staying over at his friend's house and they're playing video games, and then something happens, and there's like a really tense scene where the kid goes over to see his friend and his friend's dead in the bed.
Yeah, don't know what you're talking about.
I could be. Yeah, it's like it had some good tension, but it flopped near the end. Yeah, Cornwall. I agree with you. Yeah.
So what the episode is it good? Is it like a 5, 6, 7?
It's like I'd say it's like a lot of it is you can't be able you being unable to hear me and Toby, which is very funny sometimes.
Yeah.
But
so is it above a 5 then?
I say it's average.
So 5, yeah.
5.
Cool. Okay, so next up is Charlie the Killer. I don't really remember this one either. I remember the thumbnail for this one. I don't really remember
the Killer.
Because it was Charlie Brown, but Jeff the Killer was the thumbnail. This is me, you, and Toby. This one, I don't remember this one either.
I think this one, I remember Dennis doing that one, and Charlie the Killer Toby gets really angry at the end because Jeff comes into it.
That sounds like Toby.
And Jeff and Charlie get married, I think.
Okay, let's ask the chat for votes on Charlie the Killer.
I'd go 7, like a low 7, but it was still 7.
Yeah, looks like we've got a few 7s here. I think some of them might be for the previous episode, but 6, 7, 7.
It's the one where she marries Jeff, and Toby got annoyed. Oh, there's a lot of film brain jokes in that episode.
Apparently I said, how can someone do an entire film review in that voice and not want to punch themselves in the trachea? Yeah, that must have been film brain I was talking about. think I said something like that to someone on VR chat. I was just strolling and someone with a really annoying laugh was in the background. I was like, how do you hear that laugh and not just want to stab yourself?
And then Kat Sarita has quoted, "I love fat ugly holes," which
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
That sounds really familiar.
I think it's a 7.
Okay, here's one I kind of like. So, Hey Arnold theory. I don't really like the Jeff versus Freddy Krueger one, but I remember having a lot of fun just ridiculing the author of the Hey Arnold theory. What's interesting is both these people are named Dixon but are not related. So Rachel Dixon and Matt Dixon are not related. But this was the one with they like Arnold's parents were old, so they molested him, as old people are wont to do.
I'm not giving my opinion on this episode.
Fair.
Because my opinion will be very biased.
I kind of like it. I don't love it. I think it's at the very least a 6, perhaps a 7. It loses points for overall, like the Jeff versus Freddy Krueger story is pretty shitty. So to me, like maybe 7, like a good 6 or a bad 7 for me this episode.
I'd go with the chat.
Yeah, so seeing 7, 8, 6, 6. 6.5. Yeah, see, 6.5 is about where it sits for me. Maybe 6.7, something like that. 7. 6. But yeah, so this was the one. Again, I think the Jeff versus Freddy one, was just kind of disappointing that it existed. So it looks like 6 is the consensus. So we'll go with 6. Personally, it's pretty close to a 7 for me. But we'll go with the consensus of the chat because Gemma doesn't want to give her thoughts on that one. So we're going to go with the chat. So 6. And we end... well, actually, no, we're not at the end. But we're nearly at the end of Season 5. Very, very long season. And we're starting to pick the pace back up again. Judge Angels is one I really like.
I had fun with that one.
I think Judge Angels has extremely high production value. That's one of the episodes where we start experimenting with having moving images and people very crude animation and stuff like that. And we start getting a bit more experimental and lots more Photoshop and stuff. And the jokes I think are quite good. The Jeremy Clarkson voice and everything. And is Judge Angels the one with the chills voice?
I don't know, but it's the one where I see Catherine of Aragog.
You know what? Catherine of Aragog pushes it to damn near a 10. I'm going to say it's a 10 out of 10 that's too long and therefore a 9.
I'd go 9 too.
Yeah, let's give it a 9. And then we'll see what the chat thinks. But you and I, our consensus, I think, it's definitely 9. Yeah, it's a real step back in the right direction for the show. It's interesting doing this as a whole and seeing the ups and downs of the show when it's all laid out in front of you.
Yeah.
It's kind of humbling, actually. Jurassic Pastas. 2 Jurassic Pastas.
Hey Gemma, no, it's like me going. Gemma says, "Hey Jake, have you ever seen that movie Contact?"
Just throws up. This is Mike K. This is borderline experimental. Still one of the funniest videos on YouTube. Just the fucking Red Letter Media guys trying to watch Resident Evil 4. Jurassic Pastas. I don't really remember it. It's like a 5, maybe 6.
It gets a 6 for me for the Contact joke you made.
Yeah.
Because and then there's I was reading the second story and going, is Jurassic Park even in this? And it's like, yeah. And then they just mention it.
Yeah, briefly, and they put it in the fucking Jurassic Park tags. Okay, Street Fighter V Sucker Bus. I can't believe this is that old. This feels like we just did this one.
I know, right? Hey, to be fair, it's from early 2019.
This is good, the Sucker Bus one.
I enjoyed Sucker Bus.
I think this is a strong contender for one of the best episodes in season 5. It's a minimum 8 for me.
I'd go 8.
Yeah, it's 8 pushing 9. Yeah, let's go with 8. So we both seem to agree. And rounding off probably one of the weakest season finales is Candy Cane Killer. I'm not sure how much I can remember about these, other than it was kind of like Carrie, but with like poison sweets.
I liked Candy Cane.
I'm not saying it sucks, but I'm just saying like compared to some of the other season finales we've had, like Silent Sonia or Lady in the Basement.
Matt made some great jokes in Candy Cane, and again, I think I think the Jurassic Park pastas was like Matt's return from like being
In hospital,
in
yeah.
hospital and things like that.
Had like half a leg and was like, "Hello, boys, I'm back," and flew right into the alien spaceship.
Yeah.
But survived using the excess skin that was removed from his leg as a shield.
Yeah, and then at the beginning, this had like a rank, like one of those like top Trump like things where it was like name Candy Cane and age.
Oh, I love when they have those.
And then it was like what she's wearing and that she's dating Judge Angels or like.
I'm gonna move my my desk lamp because I keep talking into it thinking it's my microphone. So I'm just gonna move that because
Yeah, we should probably do that.
yeah, it's 25 to 12 at night and I'm kind of tired and stupid.
So I'm seeing a lot of 7s and 8s for
Yeah.
Candy Cane.
What do you think, Gemma? I'll leave it in your court.
I'd go high 7.
Yeah, okay, let's go high 7 then. And that's season 5. So let's have a quick look at the whole of season 5. Season 5 in many ways is kind of the worst season, but it has some really good standout episodes. So 8, 7, 4, 6, 9, 7, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 6, 9, 6, 8, 7. So yeah, it's got a few like 9s. It's got a couple of really good fucking bangers, but it's got no 10s.
The thing is, it's got like when you think about it though, it's got a better rankings in season 3 overall
Yeah.
and season 4.
Okay, season 6.
Now season 6.
We're nearly done now. Season 6, I'll tell you this right now, I know has got at least one 10. There's at least a single 10 in season 6. I'm looking at it right now. But it's not. It's not. Dead: A Legend of Zelda story, which is not one I can really remember. Who remembers this one? Dead: A Legend of Zelda story. It's based on Ocarina. It's just me and Matt. I know it's about Ocarina of Time. But damn if I really remember this one. What is this? Like 7 maybe, this one? 6? I don't really remember it. I think this is the one where all the N64 cartridges in the world disappear overnight. The guy's like, I couldn't find any N64 cartridges in the world, but it's like a non-event and a very small part of the story.
Yeah, that's familiar.
So like that alone pushes it above a 5. That makes it a 6.
Was this another one where like you were mentioning maybe Hitalia was mentioned?
People in the chat are saying 7. Let's go with 7 and move on, because I really want to talk about some of the absolute fucking insanity of some of these other episodes. Because I think 6 has some really good episodes in it. Like I think 6 definitely fucking brings it back from like the annals of mixed baggery. Homicidal Lou, boys. Okay. Again, and I know I'm not exactly in the minority when I look at the average rating for this episode on IMDb, which is 9.6. I'm going 10 for Homicidal Lou. This is the first 10 we've had in years at this point, looking at the show. This is just great. It's the 3 original amigos, the squad, fucking feature length, jokes firing on all cylinders. Boom, 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 jokes constantly.
I go 9.
Fair. This is also the one with low polygon Watto from the N64.
Is this also the one where, as you say, bold words for a man about to choke to death on his own cock?
I think it might be. We're talking about Death Note. It's like bold words for to choke to death on his own cock.
I remember.
This is a fucking 10. It just is. Like, how can I justify any other rating for this one? Welcome back, the 10 rating. We have missed you since fucking season 4 or whatever the hell we used you last.
I can see another 10, by the way.
Yeah, right next to it, Sonic X Lost Episode Revenge of Jungle Trap.
Yes, that's another 10. I listened to it recently, actually.
There's a part in that where it says, oh, and Cream was sitting at the... and I remember giggling to myself like a little child, going on Photoshop and making the quick fill train station and sticking a pot of Tesco double cream in the bench and laughing like a little child when I was doing it.
And then you also put on the... It's like, you know, when you say you're fine, but you're not really fine.
Yeah.
You, like, clip over the top of it. But Sonic X Lost Episode Revenge of Jungle Trap
absolutely
gets
a 10. There's also one where Matt's rather insensitive joke when we're doing the Sonic Underground singing. It's always a musical number, and obviously because it's called Jungle Trap, and Matt just goes, "That ain't no girl in the jungle." it's again, it's kind of offensive, but I was like, that's staying in. So there's no way I can't go there. But yeah, definitely a 10 for me. Like, just look at how much 6 fucking brings it back straight away. Even like Mario 3, the threequel, probably the weakest of the trilogy, but I'm still gonna give it above a 7.
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna get an 8 or 9. Like, this is some funny shit, this episode, and it wraps up the trilogy nicely. Yeah, I'm going 8. Thank God for season 6, just fucking saving the day. And then the side gets let down with 2 Dragon Ball Z stories.
I don't even remember those.
No, same. So we're gonna have to put the chat back in charge here.
I did not remember 2 Dragon Ball Z stories. I remember Matt was basically our helpful.
Yeah, he was our translator.
He's our translator, because I only know basic parts. I remember the dragon, rock the dragon balls.
I remember something very, very funny where there's a character called Trunks, but they forgot to put the capital T. So it was just Trunks as it just described, like, as in just the noun. So it's just the swimming trunks. And there was a guy who's like, oh, I started working at 4 Kids as like an intern, and I got a job voice acting. It's like, and again, it was evidence that it was just like some idiot kid, with storyboard artist. This one's not terrible. It's like a 6 for me.
Yeah, I'd go 6. It's like
it's decent. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly serviceable.
They've got a lot. I've seen a lot of above averages on in the chat as well.
Let's hit 6 for that one.
All right, this is I think the next one's underrated.
Christmas Krampus 2. I think it's much better than Christmas Krampus.
Oh, much better.
It goes on too long, which stops it being a 10. Grandma's Jacob bought some demon hentai from. I think, Christmas Krampus 2 is like an 8 for me.
Your rant about the North.
Yeah, that alone pushes it beyond a 7.
Yeah. I had so much fun.
Just about Northerners, how they think they know every Northern person. It's true though, isn't it? You never meet a Northern person. It's like, I'm just from the North.
Well, that's the thing. Here's how, here's what it is, right? We've got the 2 Dragon Ball Z, 2 Dragon Ball Z stories. Z like a bloody...
Calm down, Jim.
Right.
Just get the words out.
That's the 31st of March 2020, start a lockdown. And then we didn't do another episode. Yeah. We did obviously do, like, Stones to Abigail.
That was the thing, this period where it was almost a year, it was full of Onision shit we were doing.
Yeah, because
which, like, slowed the pace of the regular programming right down. I can't believe how close we are to the end now. Christmas Krampus 2, I think, that's an 8.
I go 8.
Man, fucking season 6 slaps so hard.
And then we've got another really great one.
And this one hasn't been out long enough to have a consensus. Like, not enough people have voted on this one to have a consensus. So, but this one does have, finally, some plot descriptions. An IHOP waitress is offered large sums of cash for her blood, but why? And Jane is injected with liquid hate and things get weird. Okay, so... It's good.
I had a lot of fun with Born of Science.
Like, all the stuff about IHOP and the price of rent in America.
My David Lynch voice.
The David Lynch voice.
You're like Toby's like. I think Toby's just being exasperated at just like what Matt's. I think everyone was on great form in that episode.
One of the FBI agents having been sent by Chris Chan as part of the Love Quest. Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah. And it was just like you like being like a Jane, right? And like you getting angry because there was no doctor when you were thinking there was going to be a doctor raving, and then you just went and took over a nurse's voice.
Yeah, I'm doing the fucking voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, and the thing is, it's of all the Jane the Killer related stories we've done, this one is probably the worst one.
Yes, it is.
Like in terms of the quality of writing, this one was so fucking bad that it absolutely lent itself to being mocked. So I think we're going to wrap things up on Bad Creepypasta as it currently exists with 10. We're going to finish it off with a 10. So season 6, 7, 10, 10, 8, 6, 8, 10. We really fucking brought the show back from the nightmare of
4 and 5.
Yeah. Annoyingly, it doesn't look like I can look at the entire thing by rating. Maybe I can if I get an episode list.
There's also
because what I want to do is be able to rank them now and see which. No, I have to do it in seasons. That's really annoying. I want to do the whole thing.
But I will say that here's one thing that we do need to add is all the stones to Abigail, and this is why I hate yous, plus the Sonic DXC remake streams we did.
Absolutely. So what we'll do now is we're going to have a look at the order. Is there a way we can look at them by sort them by rating, maybe? Oh, this is just fucking. There's just not enough options here. What I want to do is put them in by rating, so I can just look at the 10s and things like that. Okay. So the best episodes are. What we'll do is we'll roll down till we see 10s, and we'll tell you what all the best episodes of the show are. Okay, this is where the ranking portion of it. These are what we as the creators of the show, what we rank as the best episodes, and we'll see if yours are in here. So let's go. Scroll down till we see 10s. So these are the sort of 5 or however many 10s we ended up giving best episodes ever. Thomas from season 1. Thomas, I'm really happy with. And Tetra and the Real Chuck E. Cheese also from season 1.
Mm-hmm. So Thomas and Tetra.
Yeah, no so far.
Jeff
the Killer versus Slender Man from season 2. Lady in the Basement and Dogbite also from season 2.
Mm-hmm.
Just wait for fucking 3 to load. To kill me.
There it is.
Any 10s in 3? No 10s in season 3. Jump to season 4. No 10s in season 4, and I know there's not in 5s, so I'll jump straight to 6. Homicidal Lou, Sonic X, Revenge of Jungle Trap, and Born of Science, Jane the Killer. Those are what we have as an audience and the team have voted tonight as the greatest episodes of Bad Creepypasta. But, was your favourite in there? Is anyone here whose favourite episode was not amongst those list of the tens? Let me know. And now, of course, we rank the show. We go to Bad Creepypasta as a whole, and we give the whole show a rating out of 10. And if you guys enjoyed this, I mean, it probably wouldn't be as fun to do with shows that you haven't seen, of course, but I might do this with some other shows, maybe over on Twitch so it doesn't clog up this channel. I might do this with other TV shows I've watched and see if they're ones that you guys... I'm going to do Game of Thrones today. People go, okay, I know Game of Thrones. Yep, we'll hop over.
Well, the one that you've not ranked as being a 10 out of 10 that I would have ranked a 10 out of 10 is Close Encounters with the Tails doll.
I think that was a 9, wasn't it? Oh, we gave that an 8? Why?
I wasn't here for that, so...
So let's just bulk that up to a 9.
So, I'm like... It's damn near perfect.
It's very strong.
It's really strong.
So, the show as a whole. Where the fuck do we go? Because there are some real stinkers. Some 3s out of 10. Nothing, no 1 out of 10s. But there are a couple of stinkers. There's a few 4s. And then some average episodes. And there's also some 10s and quite a lot of 9s. Like quite a lot of 9s and 8s.
Yeah, I'm not giving my thoughts until
until people have said in the chat what they think the show as a whole deserves. So taken as a complete experience, going from season 1 to 6, how do we feel? What do we deserve as a show? A lot of 9s and some 8s as well. In the chat. 10. Oh, that's very nice of you. But we've got a few duff episodes in there that I don't think deserve a 10. 8.5 out of 10. Great cock. 9. A few 9s. 10. Yeah, it looks like 9 is kind of the consensus in the chat, so very pleased with that. Me personally, I'm going to be a little more humble and go with 8. I am very proud of the show. I don't think it's the best thing I've ever made, but I think it's good, and in fact I think at times great. So I think it deserves an 8. It's a good 8, about an 8.5 for me.
I'd be the same, 8.5. I think the 8.4 works for me as what it's already been rated as. 8.4 works for me. Yeah.
The 8.4 I think is 78. 8.4. It's got some user reviews as well. Let's have a look at those.
Not Matt being very honest as usual.
0. The show was a mistake. In some ways it was, but in some ways it wasn't. All 10s. Look, all the reviews are 10s. So that's fantastic. And before we wrap things up, look at the fucking how many guests there have been. That's ridiculous. I got all cast and crew.
I've been in more than
Look
30
at
episodes.
that.
I've been in more than 30 episodes.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, because there's a couple. There's that episode that wasn't, and then we've also got all the Bad Creepypasta streams. And
Yeah, but I don't count those because they're not on here. They're not on IMDb.
But there's one episode that we're not that none of us are credited on.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, that's a lot of fuckers that have been on the show, isn't it? Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow. There's me. I've been on 138 episodes.
Matt's been on 127.
Toby's been on 108, and you've apparently been on 30. Obviously not including live streams and things. Dennis has been on 10. MD Phantasm 6 and Vince 12 4. Yeah, good times, guys. It's been
It's been
1 week since you looked at me.
Cocked your head to the. Look, I can't.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, you're trying to speak, and it's not. The words aren't coming out. And it's charming, you know. So yeah, one last thing before we wrap up is go and fucking watch this movie. It's on the channel. It's got a 9.4. Go and watch it right now. Why aren't you watching it? And then come back and leave a review because there are no reviews. Give it a ranking out of 10, hopefully an 8+, and write a review. And the reviews will go here where people can read them.